Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 274. I'm your host, Justin D. Simone, joined as always by my co host, Montrell Rice. Montrell, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, they definitely changed the UI for this software we're using. It
Oh,
just looks
yeah?
way different. Yeah, they changed it a
Doesn't
little
look any
bit.
different from my end.
Yeah, they definitely
Yeah.
changed some stuff.
Okay. Or are you using the new studio versus the old one?
I am. If you use the
Okay.
retro one,
Yeah.
it doesn't work too well anymore for some reason. But you can still go back to it because
That's
I
by
know.
design.
Yeah, I know we like the old version better, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, we can't. I mean, it works, but like I said, it has some kinks to it. So,
Mm-hmm. Well, cool. How's life treating you otherwise?
um, it's okay. Uh, it's okay.
Work beating you
My
down?
yeah, there's just little stuff here and there. But yeah, it's all right. We went back to visit my family and stuff like that, and
Mm,
it was okay.
that was last weekend.
Yeah, and yeah, it was all right. We missed the storm completely. I didn't know you guys got hit by
Oh
a
my God.
category 20 fucking tropical storm out here.
I
um,
mean, I was talking to somebody about this. Is like every storm here feels like it's a monsoon, you know?
yeah,
Like there was another one today, dude. Like for like 30 minutes. Like it was
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
dude, it's just like the wind is like I feel like I'm in a hurricane, you know?
yeah.
I look outside and it looks like a hurricane, you know, but it's not, obviously. It's just a normal North Texas storm, but it's like every storm is like that. Like it can't just rain here, you know? Like build it like trees have to get uprooted, buildings have to get damaged, fences have to get knocked down. You can't just have rain, you know? It's
Yeah,
like yeah.
our fucking tent in the back is completely destroyed. We had our whole
Oh
little setup.
no.
Yeah, had our whole
Yeah.
little setup back there.
Oh
Everything's
shit.
completely destroyed.
Oh
As
man.
far as that, we didn't know. We didn't know this storm was going to be this bad. Like we knew it was going to
Yeah.
rain,
You would have
but
prepped for it, right? I'm
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
we
Right.
didn't know. Because I checked the weather before we left and everything. For both locations that we were going
Mm-hmm.
out of, and our flight was delayed, so we didn't get in until Tuesday night.
Yeah, that was Tuesday morning it happened, right? Because yeah, dude, I didn't go into work because of it. Like it was happening at like I wake up at like 7:45 to get in by
Yeah.
9. And yeah, it was happening when I woke up and it did not stop until 10, probably past 10. So I
Yeah,
just
our
worked from
flight was
home,
delayed
you know.
all the way
But
until we
yeah.
didn't get in until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yo, what? So on Wednesday morning?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So I already took I took the day off just because
Yeah.
I wanted to have a buffer day. But thank
Oh,
God I did that because I would be going into work.
no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
My
no.
wife had to go into work, so it
Oh
wasn't
my
too
god.
fun for her.
She should have just called.
Yeah, she works from home though, so it wasn't
Oh,
too
okay.
big of a deal.
All
But
right. Yeah,
um, yeah,
gotcha.
it was still crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, I missed all that fun, all the golf size, baseball size hail balls that were flying out the sky
That
and
didn't
everything.
happen near me. I don't know.
It
Yeah,
happened in Dallas and it happened near happened near
dude,
my
that's crazy.
job.
Dude, it
Yeah,
seems so sporadic, like how lucky it is, like lucky or unlucky, whether you get it or not. Like
yeah,
it's fucking nuts, dude. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah,
So
somebody I work with, their fence got fucking ripped apart. Like mine's okay. Ours, we didn't get any damage, thankfully. But dude, like we just planted a new tree like a month ago. You
mhm.
know, so it's like a young tree. It's not a baby tree. It's not one of the ones where you need like the string, you know, going into the ground or anything like that to keep it upright. But yeah, it's a relatively young tree though. So every time one of these storms is happening lately, I'm like looking out my window, like just praying to God that the tree is okay, you know, because
Yeah,
it's not cheap, you know, to get one of these. So it's like, dude, I don't want to have to do that expense again. But it's like they keep happening. It's like every fucking week, dude. This spring has been stupid. Like it's I don't know. It's just like
I
it
think it's
won't
gonna be
stop.
super hot this summer. I
I
don't know.
totally agree. I think it's gonna be bad, like
Yeah, it's gonna be super hot.
unbearable. So last summer was unbearable.
Yeah, last summer was fucking crazy. Last
Oh,
summer, I contemplated moving. Like that's how bad it was. Like I didn't,
yeah,
I
man.
didn't want
I
to deal with
know.
this shit.
I know what you mean. Like, dude, like I would happily take the worst snowstorm I've ever experienced in my
I
life
was
over this
telling
shit.
my family up north that I
Yeah.
was like, "You guys don't understand. I would. rather live in 6 feet of snow
Mm-hmm.
than 120-degree or 110-degree weather that we had last year. She was
Oh
fucking
man.
crazy for
Yeah.
days, by the
Days,
way.
days, like weeks at a time. Like
Yeah.
seriously. And it wouldn't rain. Like it wasn't raining for a period
And
of the
it
summer.
wasn't
Like
raining
it
at
didn't rain
all.
for weeks. Like it was miserable. Like there are dude, Montrell, it was so bad that there are dead spots in my grass that are still there from last summer. Like
Yeah, I know. It's
they
the
have
same thing
not
for
come
us.
back. Yeah, they have not come back like nearly a year later. It's insane. So that's how hot it was, guys. Like
Yeah, it was crazy.
just
But
murdering grass and plants and whatever else,
man,
beating your house to death. Like, oh man,
yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty crazy. So I don't know.
yeah.
And then even at night, it was like 90 degrees. It was fucking. Oh, it was
Oh
miserable
my god,
last
dude.
year.
Yeah, no, muggy too. Like sometimes, like,
Yeah, man.
oh my god, man. Yeah, no. The nighttime heat is something I'm never gonna get used to because
Yeah.
that's just not something. It might happen nowadays. I don't know. I haven't really been to
I,
Boston.
I just went up north. It was, you know what the high was, and people were up there.
Yeah.
They had the fucking nerve to say, "Oh my god, it's fucking hot." It was 80 degrees out there, bro.
The
And then it
nerve,
went
the nerve,
the fucking nerve.
the
And
absolute
then
nerve of these
you know
people.
it was the nerve of my wife on the other side, right? It went down to like 62 degrees at night. I was like, "Ooh, this is some good weather, right?" She's like, "Oh,
And
I'm
she's like, "Oh, it's
cold."
so cold."
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was like, the fucking nerve. Oh, this shit feels good as fuck.
Montrell, we're the worst people, dude. We judge we judge people for their weather opinions, no matter what direction it is. we're we would be so annoying. Oh my god. It'd be like, "Oh, it's 55. It's so cold." What the fuck are you talking about?
That shit
Who
is
the
beautiful.
Oh,
That
that's
shit is,
beautiful weather, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
You know?
55 with the sun out. Oh,
Yeah,
oof, you
man.
can't beat that.
Mhm.
But yeah. So I don't know how you been.
I'm pretty good. I'm working through some things with my job, so it's just
Yeah, I totally understand.
continuing to work through those. But I'll tell you more off the show. But yeah, so that's good. But I have been gaming, doing some gaming. I haven't started working on a new video yet, but I'm thinking about it for YouTube. So I have the next game I kind of want to cover. I think so. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna have time though. I'm going on a trip in 7 days. No, 8 days. 9 days. No, 10 days. Week from Sunday. I'm going on a work trip for 2 weeks. So whatever I'm gonna do, I need to do it fast because I'm not gonna be able to work on it while I'm gone. So or at least not the editing part probably. So if I were trying to finish it before then, I need to get started on it soon. So no, but it's been pretty good otherwise. The pool opened in our HOA, so we went to the pool for the first time this weekend, which was nice. That was good. And then been watching the hockey playoffs. Stars are in the conference finals, so
Nice.
that's been fun. Been watching that with Amanda, and they're tied 2-2 right now with them coming home tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night. So that'll be a fun game. But I do enjoy playoff hockey. It's very fun actually to watch. But I can't do it all year. I can't do the regular season. But once I get into the playoffs, that's when it actually gets really good. So yeah, no, things have been pretty good for us. So all right, Montreal. I think you had a topic you wanted to talk about before we jumped
Oh
into the
yeah.
show. Yeah, let's do that
It
real
wasn't like
quick.
a super big topic, but yeah. So I wanted to talk about Windows 11. I like Windows 11. I have it on my laptop as a test. I'm still very wary on putting it on my main system. But yeah, now they're rolling out a feature called Recall,
Mhm.
which means it pretty much has like a live version of your your computer at
Yeah.
any point, so you can go back to almost any point. I think there is a cutoff date. I don't know if it's like 30 days or 10 days or something like that, but you can go back and you can start. I think you can start back at that point, or at least look at the snapshots of that point.
Wow.
So it's constantly recalling it, and everything of that nature. So it says it doesn't. It does. It looks at like apps, websites, images, and documents, but it doesn't save the audio or continuous video. Um, they also say they block out. So it's almost like having a photographic memory on your computer, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm.
They do say they block out like sensitive information, like when you're typing in your password and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like, but like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking too, right? Because
Yeah.
like for me, sometimes I do like you get the little eye icon and you type in your password. Sometimes I
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Now if you're the type of person that doesn't do that, I also like then okay. But I also have like encrypted files on my stuff with passwords on my computer and everything of that nature. So I have encrypted files and everything of that nature on a flash drive and everything of that nature, just in case I forget, and I keep the flash drive with me. Um,
Mhm.
and that's just for like very important documents and passwords that I store in my closet or something like that. And but yeah, I don't like this. I think this is like fucking terrible. Um, it's AI as well, so it uses some version of AI to do that.
Cool.
With the
Yeah.
Copilot, that's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know the specifics on how it's going to be implemented in certain PCs. They say that from what I hear, they're like, oh well, a lot of the current PCs out right now don't have the technology for it, but Windows is currently on version Windows 11 version 23 point or 23H2, and it's going to be implemented on 24H2, I believe, or yeah,
Yeah.
24H2 or yeah. So that's like right around the corner. For so beta users are already using this or whatever, and
Yeah.
there
Like a few
isn't
months from now.
yeah, so there is a toggle to turn it off, and you can turn it off. That is it is. But my thing is this: God forbid someone hacks your system and then turns it on,
Hmm.
and then they leave it on, like they do like some kind of reconnaissance work, right? And then they leave it unremote for your PC. You don't even know. You think you turned it on off, right? And
Yeah.
then you're doing all this stuff, and then they come back like 10 days later, and they're like, okay, now I can see what he's been doing and everything of that nature. Like this is like a huge security risk. I don't know how this is legal, but it is because
Yeah.
our fucking
That's
Congress is old as shit, so they don't want
that's
to
the
do
first
anything.
place my head went. This is a massive, like, I mean, this is literally Big Brother. Like
Yeah,
they are recording your screen 24/7. Like what? How is that possibly gonna actually pass muster? Like from a legality standpoint, like the government can't do this, and that's with like the Patriot Act in place. It's like, I mean, maybe they will now. Who knows? I'm sure they will at this point. It just was a technology limitation, but
they
um,
actually do have an article for IT admins for it,
well, that
how to
that's
manage it.
yeah, that's the part I was thinking of immediately. But like as I think about it, I guess let's stick with the personal side first, right?
Yeah.
Personal protections, because this is extremely. I I don't think this should be implemented from just a straight up moral standpoint. You know,
I
you are
agree.
injecting this into a society that is just fucking neurotic, like people will do weird shit with this, like spouses will spy on each other, they'll spy on their fucking kids, like you can do all sorts of shit with this, like there's I just don't understand like how like to the point that like when I have kids, I'm going to turn this off on all computers in the house, and I'm frankly like to the point that I might need to implement like administrative passwords on computers so that no one can turn it on but me,
Yeah.
because it's just like, I mean, it's like a huge, I don't know, it's like a huge problem to me. Like I just can't fathom why they would want to implement this technology from a technology support or like IT standpoint. It has a lot of applications actually that I think do make it useful, but it shouldn't be in home consumer editions of Windows. I think that's something, I think that should be the delineation. I think even at work, there's questions about the ethics of doing this at a job. Um, there is some line of you shouldn't expect privacy on, a work computer type situation. I don't know, man. That's like so fucking like, dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine you're somebody who like, you know, isn't like the best worker or something like that? You're not like, you're not. There's times where you're like, you're not at your desk or something like that, and you just like take like an hour, and you're like, like go do errands or something when you're working from home. Like people do that, like for sure. That would all be recorded now. It's like it's so fucked up, dude. I don't know. Like people shouldn't be doing that kind of thing, but at the same time, it's like you shouldn't have that like thing over your shoulder, that like eye of Sauron type thing over your shoulder that your IT admins can pull on you at any time. It's like that's because they can already do that to you, by the way. Like it's not like that doesn't exist. They can get logs of all your activity on a computer. It's like that's
Mhm.
possible to do. They're not going to do it unless there's a reason generally.
Yeah.
But
Trust me, I think that's the one thing too I want to clarify. Like we're both listening to IT, and unless you get like a really creepy dude, like 95% of IT, I even go as far as to say 99% of IT people.
yeah,
No, 95 is okay. 95% of IT people, especially admins and system admins, do not give a fuck what you're doing.
I don't want to know.
We don't want to know
I
at
don't
all.
want to know. I don't want to know somebody that I don't want to know. Like, I literally don't want to know if someone's activity is like that, where they're like taking massive. I don't want to know that because at that point, it becomes like an ethics issue on your side. Like, are you obligated to report that or tell somebody? Like, it's like, I don't even want to be in that situation, But this is the problem, Montreal. This has practical applications for support, for like troubleshooting, right? Like if you're trying to replicate a problem and somebody says something happened, you can use this video now to go actually see it, but then you may inadvertently see things that you don't want to see, Like you may find out that there's huge gaps in their activity. You may find out that they're fucking watching porn on their company laptop or doing bills or like watching YouTube all day. It's like you're going to find those things out inadvertently by using this, And I just think it opens a whole can of worms that is not worth it. I don't know why Microsoft wants to do this in the first place. Like what's their application of this? Like that they want why they want to implement this? Like did they say anything like that?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to look for. I don't know why they. Only thing they're saying is like, oh, this is a cool feature, and it allows you to, recall moments and everything like that. And I don't know why. The only reason I can see this being implemented is in the business sector when you need to recall like something crazy happened or some files got missing and you need to understand what happened to those files or something like that. That's
But
the
you can
only.
already do that. That's the thing. Dude, everything you do within a domain environment is logged almost, like or can be logged. Like why do you need video? You don't need video to verify these things. Like
Well,
if
it's
I
more
go
like
in,
snapshots, not videos. It's JPEGs. So
okay,
there's snapshots.
then that brings into question even more what the point of this is because
Yeah,
if it isn't consistently running video, then it's like we have logging. Like if you go into a SharePoint site and delete a file, I can find out why you
yeah,
did that.
yeah,
If you're on a domain share and you delete a file, you can find out. There are ways to log that stuff. Not every company has that active, but you can. So everything you're doing in those environments is either already logged or can be logged. So I don't really understand the value in this application of this. From that perspective, because it's not necessarily going to help IT professionals really in any specific way that I can think of.
yeah. I mean, like you
Beyond
said, the logs are already
troubleshooting.
there
Right.
and everything. I mean, yeah, beyond troubleshooting, I genuinely don't know, Justin. That's why I thought it was an interesting topic to talk about because,
Yeah.
like, um, I know there are a lot of gamers out there and everything like that. Um, who play PC games, and then you may play some of the raunchy PC games or whatever. It's like that
Oh
shit
my
would
god.
store, that shit was in
Watching
it.
porn or something, dude.
Yeah,
Like
like that, and that's their right to do that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
unbelievable. Yeah, on a personal machine.
yeah, on
Like
a personal machine, that's your right to do
a
that.
lot of
And
people
I
aren't
feel
going to
like
know this is on, when it gets turned
that's
on.
what the scary part is. A
Yeah.
lot of people are not going to know this is on. I think it's going to be stealthily introduced. They're probably going to be like, "Well, we didn't introduce you when we first turned on the computer and said, hey," but people skip past that shit all the time. Like Windows does that shit all the time, and I skip past the shit, So it's like look at these new
Well,
features.
I'm sorry, this is like a loophole to law, by the way. Like I think these copyright agreements and like the, user licensing agreements are a really bullshit way for companies to sneak in garbage that because they know nobody reads it, so they can put in shit in there that you have to adhere to I just think it's a BS loophole that it should like the major things, the major beats of it should be called out to you, and like I don't know, like you could summarize it in a way that's actually digestible rather than this giant fucking thing of text, wall of text that nobody reads. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think the other aspect of this too is this is both for personal computers and ones in a domain environment or something, or a corporate environment, is resource usage, dude. Because the second this is implemented, I'm going to want to understand like what resource usage is,
Yeah,
because
so it does go break down the article with resources it use. There's different types of resources it use, and I don't know. I never heard of these resources before, but
Mhm.
I recommend everybody just go read the articles. Like just
Yeah, but
type
like
in
how much RAM is it using, CPU is it
yeah
using, that kind of thing, because I mean, we already have users that max out their computers. I don't need this running in the background taking up more resources,
yeah
Um, and frankly, I'm going to advocate to immediately turn this off the second it's implemented in my company, because fuck that. There's no reason for us to have it on, in my opinion. But because yeah, I don't want to have to support it either. Like that's the other problem is if we have it on, that means we're responsible for it. So, and then it just becomes like a legal can of worms. It's like you would need to have very specific reasoning to have to look at these kind of things. To me, it's like, so why even bother at that point? So I don't know, I don't like it.
yeah. No, I agree. Like I just think I think this is. I've been bullshitting on the transition, but I think this is going to be finally my transition over to Linux. I can still use, a lot of people don't know you can still use, a virtual machine from Windows if you want a game and stuff like that. And I think I might just do that um, and everything. But this might be my in the next 2 years. I might transition over to Linux and just fully integrate into that system. It's going to
Yep.
be a bitch to learn, but well, not really, because there's a lot of YouTube tutorials out there. It's more easier to get into than it was, I would say, 5 years ago, in my opinion,
Yep.
to get into Linux. Uh, so yeah, I mean, that's where we're at now. Like we've always joked that Windows is watching us, but now they're literally like out the bag watching us, and I have no
Yeah,
idea why. First of all, I really hope AI just dies in the next couple of years. Like I really hope it goes nowhere.
bro, it's not,
Um,
dude. Have you seen Nvidia's stock lately?
no, it went up because of
It
the
ain't going.
AI.
It ain't going anywhere. Yeah. Oh, they had a huge cert. Well, dude, they announced the stock split that they're doing. And then yeah, their profits have gone up like multiple hundreds of percentage, like 300 or 400% year over year the last couple of years because of AI data centers that
I
they're
just
implementing.
I just think oh, yeah, if they're implementing AI fucking data centers, I guess it's gonna be crazy. But like um I don't know. Every time I've seen it, it's like even it's just been used for bullshit, like bullshit that I can use on my phone, and then even like the Google AI, that
Oh, it's
shit
horrible.
so fucking
Oh,
stupid.
dude, yeah, they recently implemented that. It's so awful, dude. It gives you it doesn't give you real information.
Yeah,
Like it aggregates information incorrectly. Like it's terrible. It's like literally false. So I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
I'm not too keen on this AI shit, and I know I may sound like an old boomer head or whatever, but I don't think I would like to use it as a tool, but the way we're implementing it is not proper in my opinion.
It's
Like,
just happening too fast, dude.
yeah,
Like
yeah, there you go.
seriously, we went from smartphones coming out in 2007 to here we are in 2024, like 17 years later, and bro, AI is like fucking taking over, dude. Like that's not a long gap of time. That's a very short amount of time. That isn't even enough time for a baby to become an adult, from being born. Like that's fucking crazy. In the time frame that a kid grows up, you have that transition happening. It's like I don't know. It's too quick. It's too quick to me. Like it's just all happening too fast.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
I don't think society's ready for it. I don't think humans are really ready for it from like a moral standpoint or ethical standpoint. Like, and these conversations aren't happening. These technology advancements are just happening, and there's no conversation around the ethical side of it um, really happening at all. And the government's, like you said, a bunch of fucking senile old men, and it's just like they have no idea what the fuck is going on. So, um, yeah, it's not great. I don't know. All right, Montreal. Well, let's get into the rest of the show here. This is a video game podcast, so let's talk about some video games. All right, guys. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, not Google Podcasts. That doesn't exist anymore. It's still in the brain. And then YouTube as well. And if you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter at The Players Take, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And then a couple announcements. So next week's show is going to be a normal show. I am going to be out of town on a work trip for 2 weeks after that. So Montrell is going to be recording an episode the week after, covering all the showcases that happen next weekend, which is the like the 9th 10th period of June. And then I will be back the next week, but we will be recording on Friday because that's when I come back. So that episode will be airing on Saturday. That's when it'll be posted.
Okay. We'll talk about it offline because I just got news about something.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it offline.
All right, stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll have more next. We'll clarify it next week. But that right now, that's the plan that we had in mind.
That's the plan right now. Yeah.
So if something changes, we'll let you guys know next week. So, okay, Montreal, let's get into the show proper. Let's start with what we've been playing. You want to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll be honest. So I know this is a video game podcast, y'all, but I have not been playing video. I just been traveling and shit like that.
We gotta kick this guy off the show, guys. Like,
yeah, man,
he doesn't play games anymore. What is it?
Man.
What is this?
So obviously my internet was down for the week I left, and then once everything got turned back on, I went out of town. So the only thing I've truly been playing, I played like maybe 2 hours of it, was Metroid Zero Mission on my phone because I have the emulator. So I've been playing that, and that's legitimately all I've been playing. When I got back yesterday, I was really tired, and I'm recovering from like a fucking sinus infection that I had on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually plan to, like, when we get off the podcast, I'm gonna eat and probably play some more Stellar Blade. Get back into that.
You gotta beat that, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat that because I really want to play some other games. So I'm gonna try to hurry up and beat that game. And maybe actually do a new game plus on it myself as well. Yeah, I just really want to play some other games and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I've been playing.
We got to get you through this networking course so you have time again.
Yeah,
to play video games. All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and talk about what I've been playing. So I've been playing 2 games. Mostly Wuthering Waves. Since last week, I did talk about that.
Oh, I did play that. I'm sorry, I did play that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me talk about the first game first, and we can get into that a little bit. So I played the other game I played was Songs of Conquest. I played this for about 2 hours over the weekend. I was kind of taking a break from Wuthering Waves and just wanted to play something different. So I jumped into this game, and this game is something I've been kind of following for a few years now. It went into early access like 2 years ago, and this is a Heroes of Might and Magic 3 spiritual successor. It is tailored heavily after that game in terms of kind of the look and the design of the combat and the game in general. So you have like a character that's called a wielder in this game, which is equivalent to like a Heroes of Might and Magic 3 hero. And then you have an army of units, and those units can come in various stacks, and they're different creature types. They have different abilities, and etc. It's a tactical battles as well, turn based. So you take a turn, based on your unit's speed, they'll go in a certain order, with the enemy units as well, and you kind of go back and forth and fight battles like that. So this is a fantasy game, swords and sorcery. There's magic in the game, which is extremely powerful in this game, actually, which is pretty interesting. And then, there's only 4 factions at the moment. I have not played them all, but I believe there's an undead faction. There's the human faction. There is a mercenary faction called the Barians. And then there's a kind of like I don't want to say elven, but more like forest folk type faction, like fairies and stuff like that. I think I haven't actually encountered them all yet, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but there are four factions for sure. So in terms of the game, like how I feel about it, the couple hours I played, I did two scenarios for the human campaign, and that kind of teaches you the basics of the game, which is nice. It's kind of a good place to start, but I do think the game is pretty good. I definitely am going to keep playing this for sure. It's not Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It definitely has some significant differences to it, in terms of certain things that are in the game. Because, for instance, one of the big differences is your stacks of creatures have maximum sizes based on your hero's command stat, or command skill, rather. They have a skill, and they get one skill when they level up, that you get to increase, and command is one of those, and that determines how large your creature stacks are and how many stacks you can have, of creatures. So you start with, depends on the hero, but the one I had, I could have 3 stacks at a time. They were very minimal in size. They were not very large, but I've gotten to the point where I can have 5 stacks with that character, and it goes up as you level, of course, and you have a choice of skills when you level up too. You don't have to level up command, but it is a good way to increase your power in the game for sure. So that's one of the major differences. Heroes Might and Magic 3, there's no stack limit on creatures. You can stack creatures, literally until the game can't calculate it anymore. You can stack creatures into one stack. So that is a major difference in the game so far that I've seen. The second major difference is towns are different in this game too. So you have a town just like Heroes of Might and Magic 3, but um, that town has slots based on its size, and you cannot increase its size. So if you get a small village, you only have a certain number of slots in that village, and that's it. You're not going to be able to add more later on to that. As far as I've seen, at least so far. Maybe there's a way to do it later on that they haven't introduced yet, but I have not seen that. So that's another major difference. In Heroes of Might and Magic 3, your towns are, generally, if you're doing a random scenario, there's no limit. You can build every building generally, and except for shipyards. You need to be next to a coast to build a shipyard. So, but that's the one restriction. Otherwise, in campaigns they are restricted sometimes, but that's like a hard coded thing that they did in the campaigns. In Songs of Conquest, that is a kind of a core mechanic. That's just kind of how the game works, I think, in this game. So that's another major difference. And then the combat is fairly similar. I will say there's no wait command in this game. So in Heroes 3, you can, when your units go, you can tell them to wait. You can tell them to defend, or you can move and attack. And generally, when you play Heroes 3, if your creature is faster than the enemies, you want to wait, because basically what that does is, let's just say everybody waits. When it gets back around to start the turn order over again, because everybody still has a turn since they waited. It goes in reverse order, so the slowest creature will go first, and then the last creature to go will be the fastest creature. That's how it works in that game. So that command is not here in Heroes of Conquest, meaning that if you don't move, you have to defend, or you just you don't do anything with your unit. So there's no like kind of weight cheesing in this game, because that's kind of like a cheese ball. I won't call it cheese ball, but it's kind of a common strategy in Heroes 3 is to just wait, and you let the enemies come to you, and then you get multiple turns in a row, before they get to go again. And it's kind of a common way to play the game against the AI, especially. So that's a difference as well, with the game. But yeah, I just say overall, like I'm pretty impressed. It's very good. It's got its own identity. It isn't just copying Heroes of Might and Magic 3. Like, it has a lot of the same ideas, but it's doing it in its own way, which I think is really cool. So I think, like, because it's really easy to just try to copy Heroes 3 and make that game, but no, which is funny because no one really has ever done that successfully. But I think it's because it's hard to do. You kind of
Yeah.
have to make it your own thing. It's really, you can't just copy the game exactly verbatim. It's just not gonna translate. So you kind of have to make it your own thing, and I think that's why a lot of these games tend to not be successful, these clones of it, because ultimately, if your game balance doesn't work, or the character, the towns, the factions you can play as aren't interesting, or there's severe imbalances in certain parts of the game that can like kind of ruin the game as well. And so far, I think this game has kind of nailed all that. Like it feels good. Balance is pretty good. I will say it doesn't seem that hard so far. I've even tried up in the difficulty a little bit, and I'm still not really having a whole lot of trouble. But I am a pretty seasoned strategy game player, so it's fine. It's not a problem. Like Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is fucking easy too, dude. It's like it's so it's not an issue. Like the game can still be fun with that, with not a high difficulty. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. The cool thing is they did just announce, because the game just came out last week. They did announce a couple things. So they've sold 500,000 copies, which is fucking huge for a game like this, from an indie developer like this, which is really cool. And number two is they're going to be doing full expansion, next year in 2025, and it's going to have 2 new factions, so that'll increase the faction total to 6. And they're also going to be doing DLC campaigns in the interim, and there should be 4 of them coming out in the next like year to year and a half or so of those, which is pretty cool as well. So this game's going to be getting a support, and they said they're going to be supporting the game for years to come. So I think they've had a lot of success early on, and that has kind of buoyed them into investing more into this game, which is really exciting. So the developer is Lava Potion. Just put that out there for everybody. And I'm pretty impressed. I've not played a game of theirs. I think this is their first game. And it is a pretty impressive start. So I'm excited to jump back in and play some more of it. So yeah, Montreal. I don't know. Like, does this kind of game interest you at all, though? Like this style of game?
Uh, yeah, I just need time to play it. To be honest with you. But yeah, I actually when I seen you play it, I actually want like a more modernized version of it. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
Well, this might be it, honestly.
yeah,
The art's beautiful in the game too. It's all sprite art, which is it's just fucking gorgeous. I think the game looks excellent. Um, I don't think it's probably not going to eclipse Heroes of Might and Magic 3 for me. But that's hard to do at this point. So yeah, I don't know, dude. Like games like this would be really fun in multiplayer. Like Heroes 3 would be really cool to play multiplayer with people. It's just this is the problem. I know with our friend group, it's like awkward. Like, right, if I introduce this idea, I'm almost like I'm making people play my game, and it's just like
well, I
it's
think what
never
we have
gonna.
to do,
Yeah,
if both of us agree on the game, we just got to go into the group and we play it and we stream it, and then if they want to play it, if they like it, they'll join us. I think
yeah,
that's just a new wave now. To be honest
yeah,
with you,
yeah. No, that makes sense. Fair enough. So yeah, this game's been fun. It's cool. All right, moving
but
on.
yeah, this game was really cool actually. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, it's really, really interesting. I love these types of games. All right, the other game I've been playing, I already mentioned, was Wuthering Waves. So I've gotten a lot deeper into this game, and I have a lot more thoughts after
Okay.
last week.
Yeah.
So
Please help me. So tell me how
okay,
the how many hours are you in?
I have beaten almost all the content in the game at this point.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
which that sounds crazy, but it's actually not. Like, dude, there's not. I'm gonna be honest. This game is pretty light to start. Like, there's not a ton here. There's only 6 main story quests, like acts or what they call them. Acts 1 through 6, and I would say that takes about 10 to 12 hours maybe to get through that stuff. Maybe. I don't even think it's that long, frankly. They're pretty short overall. And then there's like 3 companion quests, which are maybe an hour to 2 hours each. I've only done 2 of those, 2 of the 3. And then there's a whole shitload of side quests and world quests. And then there's obviously like game exploration. So when I say I've done all the content, I'm talking about the questing side of things. My quest log is almost empty at this point. I've done most of the stuff available that I found so far. In terms of exploration, I have not done a whole lot of that in the open world. I probably only have a couple zones above 20% explored, and I'm kind of working my way through that now as I do some of these quests and stuff. But I am Union level 29. I'm going on 30. I'll probably hit 30 tonight or tomorrow, which will up my world level again. So at this point, I feel comfortable kind of rendering a verdict on this game. giving a full opinion on it. And so last week, I think I talked about a lot is the first impression of the first like hour and a half is just Genshin. Just feels like Genshin. A lot of it just looks like Genshin. The menus remind me of Genshin. A lot of the game systems are just ripped straight out of Genshin. And as I played the game deeper, that is still 100% true. Nothing I said there is incorrect. As I've gotten deeper into the game, it's actually kind of amazing how much shit they literally just ripped straight out of Genshin and put in this game. Um, because the fucking leveling system is exactly the same as Genshin, 100% the same, and I cannot understand why they fucking did that because it's not good in Genshin. Like, why would you put it in your fucking game? There are a million different ways to do a leveling system in an RPG, and I don't know why they fucking chose this one. I guess it's because it works and it's time consuming, like, and that's the goal with these games is they want you to play forever, basically. They want to maximize fucking engagement, so they ripped that straight out of the game. The artifact system in this game are called echoes. That part is very Genshin like. I won't say it's definitely not exactly the same as Genshin. You get artifact drops from enemies in this game, so when you kill an enemy, they can leave an echo behind that you can absorb, and that will give you what amounts to an artifact in Genshin, essentially. And you can upgrade those, and they have randomized substat rolls and stuff. They have randomized main stat rolls. Then there's echo sets. They have set bonuses. I mean, it's the same. If you play Genshin, like you know everything I'm talking about already. Like this shit it's extremely similar. It's just got some very slight differences that make it a little bit more unique, I guess, in Wuthering Waves' favor. But in terms of exploration, I mean, it's the same shit as Genshin, really. In terms of the design of it, like there's chests, there's open world puzzles, there's like combat challenges. You just walk around and you find this stuff and you complete it and you get a chest and it'll give you like premium currency and a few little other items like experience materials and stuff. So that's not really any different from Genshin. The actual traversal, so character movement and traversal around the world, is different in some ways, and it's definitely better here in Wuthering Waves, I will say. So when you're not in combat and you sprint in this game, the initial burst of the sprint takes a little bit of stamina, but you do not take stamina for continuing to sprint. So that is a nice change because that's not how it works in Genshin. In Genshin, running takes stamina regardless of whether you're in combat or not. So that is a nice change that makes traversal really nice. Running from one area to another, you're not using stamina for that. The other thing is climbing in this game. So in Genshin, climbing is very similar to Breath of the Wild. I will say that is, which trust me, I get annoyed when people make that comparison of Genshin with Breath of the Wild. That is the one thing that is very similar between the two games. That is the one thing. There is nothing else that's similar between the two.
Well, the gliding thing, right? I'm just messing with you.
I guess the gliding. Yeah, sure. The gliding. Yeah, fuck me. The fucking gliding. But yeah, Wuthering Waves has gliding too, but it also has wall climbing and everything like that in the game. But in this game, you can run up walls. You can run side to side on walls, and that takes stamina. And that feels really good. That is a really nice change as well from Genshin. So it makes traversal a lot faster in this game, which is really nice. You're not wasting a lot of time climbing gigantic cliff faces. You can kind of just run up them, and I've yet to run into anything tall enough where wall running it made me run out of stamina.
Okay.
So that's, and I mean, I've been playing the game for probably 30 hours at this point, like 25 or 30 hours. So that's good. And then the other thing is, there's a grappling hook in the game.
Yeah. Yep.
Genshin does not have as well, and that is really cool too. There is actually some really cool movement tech you can do with that, where you can jump in the air. You can actually do if you don't hold a direction when you dodge in the air, you will do a backflip up, like, so you will get basically a second jump out of that, and then you can use the grappling hook at the top of that second jump to essentially get a third jump. So there is some cool movement tech there that you can do in this game as well. So other stuff. This is a weird one that they took from Genshin. This is where the copying homework thing just goes too far. Is when you watch a tutorial or you read a tutorial in this game, like tutorials will pop up, but when you go in the menu and like read it, it will give you one of the premium currency. And Genshin does that same thing. where you get 1 Primo Gem for looking at a tutorial in Genshin. And when I tell you guys, one of the premium currency is literally nothing. Like, it costs 160 currency to pull a character, to do 1 pull on the gacha. It's nothing. So I don't understand why they pulled that from Genshin. Like, why not just make it 5 or something? Why 1? 1 is almost an insult. Like, it's the most pointless thing. It annoys me. It's like an OCD thing. It makes my premium currency like weird odd numbers. Like, they end in like a 7 for some fucking reason. It's like, so that's a weird one they pulled, because that is really literally just ripped right out of Genshin. What else is there? Quest system is largely the same as Genshin as well. I don't know. As we get deeper in the conversation, I'll point more things out, that are pretty much ripped out of Genshin. Those are kind of the major beats that I want to talk about here. But in terms of, so getting into the actual game though, the rest of the game, I think large question a lot of people are just talking about and discussing is this game better than Genshin as it was at 1.0, Genshin 1.0? And
No.
that's interesting.
I actually played Genshin.
You did play Genshin 1.0. I would say there's certain ways I would say yes. And I think the main way I would talk about it is the combat. Okay. Everything else is, I think this game is rough. I think this game is in a pretty rough state. It runs really poorly. Like, I don't know what your experience has been, Montrell, with it, but I have frame drops constantly. This is not a game that should be taxing my computer. I can play Apex Legends or whatever fucking multiplayer game and have no frame drops whatsoever with my computer. And this game is just horrible. Like, I get frame drops, crashes, freezes, screen freezes. Like,
you have an NVIDIA card, right? I think that may be the issue. I have an AMD card. I have the which one do I have? I have the latest, most powerful version of the AMD right now.
Okay.
So it runs. So at first it did stutter, and then after that, I haven't had any kind of things. So I downloaded it. So my experience though with this game was really crazy, because when I downloaded it, it would not download. It would stop at like 1% or whatever.
That's a problem, dude. Like, I tried to update the game and my launcher got locked up. And then when I actually got in the game finally after relaunching the launcher like twice, then my game locked up in the middle of updating. Yeah. I had to close it out and run it again. And then it took fucking 20 minutes to update for like a 50 meg update. Like, it was like a hot fix. It's like the game is not super well optimized. It's gotten better. They're fixing it. They have given a lot of compensation for a lot of these issues that we're going to talk about.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that.
Which I'll get into that specifically here in a bit from a gacha perspective. But that is so the launch date's whatever, dude. Like, online games, there's a long storied history of online games launching in a poor state. It happens. I'm not gonna hold it against them too much. Genshin wasn't perfect either. It wasn't this bad. I don't remember it being this bad, but it was. I was also playing on a console though at the time, so it was obviously a lot better because of that probably. So I didn't play on PC, but people do say there were issues at Genshin's launch as well that were as bad as this. I don't have that experience personally, but I also think Genshin is a much more polished game in general than Wuthering Waves. I don't think, like, Wuthering Waves, you can tell is made by kind of like a, I don't want to be mean, but like a B tier developer. Like, this isn't like your top of the line dev. Like HoYoverse has extremely polished games at this point. Their animations are top tier. Their fucking games come out. They're like, at this point, like, dude, Honkai Star Rail, when it came out, was fucking flawless. Like, it had no issues. There were barely any bugs. Like, it didn't run poorly at all. Like, it was, it just ran great. So, and I just think in terms of characters design and stuff like that too, like, I think HoYoverse is kind of in a different tier with this group as well. There's a little bit of generic.
They need to find their own identity.
Yes.
So I have this. I have a 7900 XT, by the way.
Okay.
RX 7900 XT. So that's like one of the
Mhm.
more powerful cards.
Yes.
But yeah, I haven't had any issues. I think it's probably just it. I know for some reason AMD is running not better, but I don't know. Nvidia has been weird. People have been weird with Nvidia cards. It's not like the Nvidia users' fault. It's just like companies' fault. So whatever the case may be. So,
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, like, um, I probably gotta get a little bit further. I'm more like 10 hours into the game. I probably gotta get a
Okay.
little bit further into the
Damn.
game.
Okay. Wow.
I did unlock some characters. I didn't buy anything, but they gave me a lot of free currency, so I did buy with their currency that they gave me. That is
Yeah,
the
you did
paid
some rolls.
the
Yeah.
premium currency. I got the Sephiroth looking character. I think he has the same
Palcharo?
voice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he has the same voice actor as Sephiroth in the Japanese version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I got him. Uh, so the game is really cool. I do like the game's combat, like moment to moment combat. I don't know about the systems yet because like I said, I didn't really get deep into Genshin. I played like 20 hours of Genshin. Point
Early
1.0.
Genshin is a lot different from Genshin now. I'll just say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So, so as far as like the systems and like the elemental stuff and all that stuff, guys, I don't know. I'm talking about like moment to moment punching the buttons and doing combos and stuff like that.
Dodging and yeah.
Yeah, it is very cool. I do like I do like the parry system. It's really weird, but it's
Yeah.
pretty cool that they have implemented something like that. I think
It's
in a game
different,
like
dude.
this.
It's not just pressing a
Yeah,
button, right? It's
exactly.
you have to
Yeah,
pay attention to the enemy. I do I like it. I'm not gonna sit here. It doesn't remind me of Sekiro, but like it's sort
yeah,
of it's
exactly. You
similar-ish,
have
I
to use
guess.
your brain a
You
little
have to
bit.
pay attention to what the
Yeah,
enemy is doing to parry
yeah,
effectively in this game, which is cool. That's not you can't just like spam the button and you'll parry. Like
yeah,
that's
exactly.
generally not gonna work. It might work sometimes, but oftentimes it needs to be specifically timed. So
Yeah, and I think the dodge mechanic is okay. It's like it reminds me like Near and Bayonetta that you get a little bit of witch time or whatever,
yeah, yeah.
or whatever, and
Well,
that's
one thing
cool.
one thing I will tell you with dodging is most characters when you dodge, if you immediately attack afterwards, they have a powered up counterattack ability. So keep that in mind with whoever you're playing with. I'm pretty sure like literally every character has that. At least the ones I've been using so far. So it's kind of a cool um it's kind of a cool little detail in the combat is that I have gotten much more into this as I've done more fighting with the game. That's where the game is good. Like I think that's the best part of the game by like a fucking mile. Like it's not even close really to the rest of the game. Is I just think the combat's really good in this game. It's kind of reminding me of like Stellar Blade in the same way structurally, not in terms of like the combat mechanics, but just the fact that the rest of the game is kind of weak and the combat is like carrying it. It's the
Yeah,
same kind of thing here for me because yeah, when you get into it and you start doing the combos, I'll just take the base rover for example, the Spectro rover,
yeah,
where like I was starting to figure out these combos where I would dodge and do the counterattack, which is pretty powerful for the Spectro rover at least early on. And then you will use her empowered. I'm using a PS5 controller when I play, so it's triangle for me.
mhm,
I think it's E normally if you're on a keyboard, if you're playing keyboard and mouse. You use her just her normal resonance skill. And if that's empowered with the that little bar you have at the bottom that charges as you attack things, if you do the empowered one, you can do a follow up attack immediately if you hit square, and it will do kind of like a combo off of your skill with her, and it's like a much more powerful attack than your normal attack is. And then I was chaining that into a charged attack, which if you charge it up and then you hit square again after the charge attack completes, she'll do like a dash kind of attack afterwards, hitting the enemy again. So I was like kind of comboing all these things together into her ultimate afterwards, like ending it off with an ult if it was charged. And it was actually really potent combo I was finding when I was playing. And I think the cool thing about this game is I feel like every character has little details like that where there are
yeah,
specific combos that only that character has.
yeah.
And that is where this game is really cool. Genshin has
Like,
some of that too, but it's not nearly as in depth, I think, as it is
yeah,
here.
And
So
and they do have a feedback, and I plan on like writing a whole essay for feedback.
yeah,
Um, I think they should really lean into the character action route with this game.
yeah.
I think they should give the characters more combos. I actually like the echo system as well.
I
Um,
barely use that shit actually.
yeah,
I
because
gotta get I gotta get used to that. Yeah.
you have a lot more combo potential. I like to juggle enemies, so
Yes.
I would do like you said that full combo. But then there's a combo with Rover where I'm using the male version. I can switch to the female version. I think
Bro,
it does
switch
some.
to the female. She is so hot. Like,
Yeah. I think it was switch to the female.
yeah.
But yeah, I have a where he does a little pop up move where he can pop up into the air, and then I
Mhm.
use I forgot her name, the one with the two guns. I do her move. I switch to
Chisha.
her. Yeah, Chisha. I switch to her, and then I do her. Well, I'm using the Xbox controller, so triangle or Y for me.
Yeah.
I use
Yeah.
the attack, and then you can do that move twice, and it'll still juggle them in the air. And then I switch over to the girl with the big boobs.
Baishi.
Uh, yeah, I got to remember their names. Their names are so
It's
weird.
they're very Asian. Yeah.
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 Um, and then I switch over to her and kind of finish my combo off, and then I can kind of actually juggle off of that, or whatever. So yeah, the combo potential is there, but it is Genshin 1.0 with better combo mechanics, in my opinion. And I think they
Yeah.
should really like that will be the thing that sets them apart. The problem I'm having, or not I'm having with the game is the story is fucking trash. I don't care about bro.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
first thing I wish you never really told me this fucking shit. The first thing that I noticed was the toxic discords, the fucking toxic
Bro,
fields.
it's
What the fuck
awful.
is that? I don't
It's
fucking
so
care,
bad.
bro.
It's so
Yeah,
awful.
it is pretty bad.
No, I
Um,
will say specifically the first hour to 2 hours of story in
Oh
this
my
game,
god, it's
it is
so
one of the
trash.
worst intros I've ever seen in a video game, and
Yeah,
this is apparently after they rewrote it heavily, before this game came out, and they made a huge mistake. They need to rewrite it again because it's terrible. It's gonna turn a humongous number of players off, I think.
yeah.
Like, it is
It,
that bad. The voice acting for the characters that are interacting with you at that point in the game are the worst. They are the worst. The voice acting for them is awful, like straight up horrible. And they give you the worst three characters in terms of voice acting are the first ones they introduce you to, and you spend your first 2 or 3 hours with them in the fucking game. And it's super frustrating because as I've gotten deeper, there are actually some really good voice performances in this game. It's like
oh yeah,
fucking
yeah.
irritating as hell. Like, it's like, what were you guys doing? How did this get into the game like this and you launch like this? Like, how did that happen, dude? Like, I don't understand. It's wild because yeah, it's super bad. Like, it stands out as I've played more of the game. That section of the game stands out so much because it is
Yeah,
legitimately the
a-
worst part.
and I think the story is okay. I think it's a very interesting
It
story.
gets better. It gets
Yeah,
better.
I can definitely tell it's going to get better, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, you just got to brave through those first couple hours or whatever.
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
with the game and stuff like that. I'm still trying to figure out like the game flow, like logging in to do my dailies and shit like
Hmm.
that and
Yeah, so this
everything.
is you'll find this is like a pseudo MMO.
Yeah,
You will have dailies there. You log in every day. You'll have your mobile game energy that you need to use that recharges. That will probably take you all told maybe 20 minutes eventually when you get to the point where you're like you got everything. You've beaten most of the content in the game.
mhm.
So it's not a huge time sink, generally speaking, but it is that kind of MMO like keeping you engaged type design in the game, which I don't mind. I'm okay with that given how little time it takes. Like, it doesn't take me an hour or 2 hours, out of my night. It's like I log in for 15, 20 minutes and I'm done if I don't want to play anymore. So yeah, so you'll find that as you kind of get deeper in.
Yeah. So I agree with you. Like I said, I had to just figure out the rhythm and everything like that because I knew it was like that with Genshin as well.
Yep.
Um, one thing I don't like so far is the community. Um,
Oh man.
they
Welcome to
really,
Gotcha, baby.
yeah, no, they really want to push this game towards
Oh.
not being fun. I like the combat. They just like, oh well, I want it more towards. I don't think we want. A lot of people are like, yo, like I really want this game to move. Like every time I see in the comments or like a new topic being made on Reddit. Like there are people like who are genuinely ecstatic by the game. They're like, I think this game has a lot of combo potential. I hope they move it more in that direction. And there are people like, if you want Devil May Cry, bro, we're just gonna play Devil May Cry. And I'm like, bro, what? Like,
Did
yeah, I
you
guess.
yeah, did you get the character Dungeon?
No, not yet.
Female like red-haired character
No,
uses a
I didn't get
sword.
hurt.
No, you didn't get
No,
her. Okay. She's
no.
on the current limited banner. She's actually really cool because her skill is unlike most other characters, like it has no cooldown. So it's literally a combo for her. Like it's basically a secondary attack button. So she has
Okay.
legitimate combos that you can do where it's like you'll do like square triangle triangle or square square triangle,
Okay.
like that kind of thing. She plays much more traditionally like character action game style like that. So I've actually heard she's really good too right now. Like she's actually one of the better characters from a damage standpoint. So yeah, I got a copy of her. It's funny. I got a copy of her off the standard intro banner, the beginner banner. I've been trying to get copies of her off the limited banner, and I fucking can't get one to save my fucking life, dude. It's annoying the shit out of me. I keep getting the other two characters that I don't really want that much.
Yeah,
So
so I think people are trying to change the way that combat works and stuff like that. And I really don't hope. I really hope they lean into like their own thing.
don't turn it into
Um,
Genshin, please.
yeah,
Oh my
I
god.
don't want this turn into Genshin. Um, I think which is a fear I'm gonna have for Triple Z when it comes out later
Yeah,
on. I think Hoyo in general, when it comes to the Triple Z, they want to move towards that. You can tell they want to move towards that action combat style, but I think people are gonna be like, "I want Genshin." It's like just go play Genshin then. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. It's
you
not like the
know,
game's going away.
yeah, like I don't know, but yeah. So far, I think the game's okay. It can hold my attention for like 20, 30 minutes. I play it and then I can play something else, and I think that's fine. Um,
Yeah. I was kind of flagging a bit this weekend. I was kind of sitting there thinking like, man, am I really going to play this game much more? Like am I kind of done with this? And I was at I'd finished the main story. I was starting to clean up some of the quests I had. And then because the thing that's going to keep me with this game, and this was kind of one of the main selling points before the game came out, was difficulty. This game was supposed to be a little bit more challenging than Genshin. That was kind of one of the selling points, and I think they backed off that marketing a bit closer to the game's launch. So I don't know if this is like going to be a core design tenet going forward, but I think that's what's going to keep me going for now is kind of learning what the difficulty is going to look like, because I did just unlock a feature in the game. They're called like, what is it, like a holographic, it's like a it's basically you unlock boss fights, like enhanced boss fights of the kind of bosses you can farm for materials, but those boss fights have different moves than the normal version, like they're actually harder, which is interesting. And I tried to do my first one yesterday, and I'm appropriately geared and leveled for it, and dude, when I tell you, man, if I got hit, I was getting close to one shot by a single attack. And that was surprising because that is not something that has happened up to this point in this game for me. And it's also not something that traditionally happens in Genshin a lot either. So I am kind of excited by those. There's 4 different ones, I think, and they have like 6 or 7 difficulty levels you can do all the way up to level 90. They have rewards tied to them, but from what I understand, they are one-time rewards only, which does kind of suck a little because I would actually sort of like this to be repeatable content that's difficult. So I'm kind of looking for that a little bit more. And then there's their version of Spiral Abyss, which is I forget what I don't remember what it's called. This game's fucking terminology for the names of things is absolute fucking nonsense, by the way. Um, like it's so fucking annoying. I don't remember anything from this game. But yeah, their version of Spiral Abyss. I haven't done much of it because I'm not really leveled enough for it, but I am looking forward to getting in there and kind of seeing how difficult that is as well. I'm kind of hoping it's a little harder and that it's not just damage sponge bullshit that Genshin kind of did later on in its life. And then they also have an interesting mode that is called the Solitaire something. It is their version of from Honkai Star Rail, their version of the simulated universe from that game, where you basically have these different rooms you go to, and you can get these enhancements within the mode that enhance your party. And they're only there for that one run. Basically, it's kind of roguelike sort of in that regard, or I guess roguelite, I don't know. But so that's interesting too. I don't really know if there's going to be difficulty there though, so I'm not sure, because I'm going to be honest, long term, that's the thing that's going to keep me with this game, is that it gives me engaging, difficult content. If it doesn't do that, I'm probably going to drop this game, because that's eventually the point I got to with Genshin, where it's just like nothing's hard anymore and it's all trivial. And the shit that is hard because it's like a DPS check. It's not hard because it's actually mechanically challenging me. It's just like it's literally, do my characters do enough damage in the 3 minutes I have to do damage? Like, and that's it. It's like that's not, I don't consider that challenge, from Genshin
Yeah.
standpoint. So that's kind of the thing. I'm gonna keep playing this game in the short term, probably, and until I get to the higher tier stuff, and I really want to see what that is. So I don't know. What about you? Is that something you care about as well?
Yeah, I don't want the game to be a DPS check. I want it to actually be challenging. Excuse me. Yeah, I want it to actually be challenging to have different enemies and stuff. It seemed like it could be challenging, but I'm just hoping the player base appreciates that. I don't want it to be like Dark Souls or anything. I just want it to be fun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, trust me with this, dude. Unfortunately, Gacha has become the community around Gacha, and I mean, trust me, I've been mired in some of this stuff from a content creator standpoint. Like the tech tones, this guy named Gotcha Smack. There's all these like theory crafters out there that theory craft like who the best teams are, what the best equipment is on those characters, what the best echoes are, artifacts in Genshin are, and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, they're going to min max the game, and the community kind of eats that shit up in these games. So frankly, the way I am going to play, and this is kind of the way I recommend a lot of people do this, is avoid that shit as much as you can. Um, don't be influenced by it, because it's breeding FOMO is what it ends up doing. Is it's trying to almost encourage people to spend money. They're not directly doing that, these content creators, but they kind of are when they start hyping these characters up, where they say, oh, so and so is a must have, you have to have this character, like this character breaks the game, and that kind of thing. It's like that's the kind of terminology you're going to hear out there, and it's like really, I really would recommend avoiding it if you can. If you need advice, there are guides out there, but you're going to run into some of this type of talk if you end up looking for that stuff. So I would recommend, frankly, um, be free to play in this game, or maximally low spend. Like only buy the battle pass and the $5 daily pass they have. Don't go beyond that, because the issue with these games, and this happens in Genshin, this happens in Honkai, it's going to happen in this game too, is the more money you spend means the better your account is, which means the easier the game is going to be. Spending money just makes these games easier, and that is, unfortunately for me, like it's gotten to the point where it's like that's kind of the reason I don't spend money in these games, is because I want them to be hard. I kind of want them to be challenging, because I like the gameplay,
Hmm.
but I don't like it when it's just like I press a couple buttons and everything falls over. It's like that's just not
Yeah.
fun. That's not what I'm looking for in this kind of game anymore. And unfortunately, my Genshin account is kind of fucked in that regard. Like I played it too much and put too much money into it, to the point that it's like I have a very strong account, and I don't want that to happen here with Wuthering Waves. So I'm going to try to be smarter with the way I spend money in this kind of thing, so I don't ruin the experience for myself ultimately. So, um, anything else you wanted to talk about with this game?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. I do have a couple other things. So I did want to mention the gotcha system, real quick, because I was talking about things that it ripped away from Genshin. This is largely the same as Genshin. There are some very slight differences that are important to call out. So Genshin's 5-star rate is 0.6% in that game, and the hard pity for a 5-star on their banners is 90 pulls. Generally speaking, you are not going to hit 90 pulls. There is a soft pity system that starts to accelerate your chance of getting a 5-star around 70 pulls, and it increases like very quickly after that. So you're generally not going to get to 90. That is super rare. In this game, hard pity is 80. It also has a soft pity. I don't know when it starts. I think it's around 60 to 65, somewhere in there. But so that is a difference. It's 10 less pulls. I believe that's the same as Honkai Star Rail. I think Honkai reduced their hard pity to 80 as well. And then the pull rate in this game for a 5-star is 0.8%, which is obviously still very low, but it is 33% higher than Genshin's. So keep that in mind as well. A couple other things they did, which was really cool, is the standard banner. So there is actually a separate banner for weapons in the standard banner, which is not something either game has done, Honkai or Genshin. So that is a little bit new here. That's different, and you also get to pick the weapon you want to get. So you will choose a weapon, and when you eventually pull a 5-star on that banner, you're guaranteed to get that weapon, which is really nice. That's a super nice change in the game. I think the other thing is the weapon banner for the limited banner is a single weapon for the character that is the limited character, and it's just that weapon, and you are guaranteed to get that weapon when you roll. Like there's no chance for you to get anything else, which is super nice. I think that's really cool as well. Because in Genshin it's a 50-50. If you don't hit the banner weapon, you will get a standard banner weapon, which are fucking terrible at this point in Genshin's lifespan. So that feels like fucking absolute dog shit. And the other thing is that the weapon banners have 2 weapons on them. So instead of 1, so even if you get a banner weapon, there's a 50-50 chance that it will be the weapon you don't want. So that's 2 changes they made with the weapon banner for the limited banner, which is really nice. And then the other thing I think is these beginner banners they did. So they did a beginner banner, which Genshin did this as well, where you get 5-star after I think 50 pulls on it, which is really nice. But or 40 pulls, sorry, in Wuthering Waves, which is really cool. But then after that, they have another beginner banner where you get to choose a 5-star that you want to go for, which is really cool. So basically you get your first random one, and then you pick one for that second banner. So you're going to get 2 guaranteed if you want to, or you could get the same one twice if you want to get the wave band for it, which I would not recommend early in the game. But so that's cool. But also, we were talking about compensation earlier. This game's been having a lot of issues. I will say this is one thing that is significantly different from Hoyoverse, is they are extremely talkative with the community. They're very communicative. And they're also giving out a lot of stuff as an apology for all the issues that have been happening at launch with the game. And that includes, and this is insane because I've never seen, I have not, Genshin and Honkai, I've never done this. They gave everyone a 5-star selector ticket right out of the gate, and it is live now, and it doesn't expire until literally a year from now, which is crazy. So basically, if you start playing the game anytime between now and basically, I think it's like May 21st next year, you will get this 5-star selector ticket, which is fucking awesome. So it basically means that you can get 3 of the 5 standard banner 5-stars to start out your account, which is a really cool starting point, I think, for most players to be at. And that is free to play. You don't have to pay any money to do that. So that is definitely different for a gacha. That is significantly different from Hoyoverse. They would never do that shitting. Dude, Genshin's been going for nearly 4 years, and they have never, ever once given us any kind of 5-star selector for anything, dude. And the fucking standard banner characters at this point are all dog shit characters. They're horrible. So it wouldn't have mattered if they had given that shit to us, but they didn't even give it. They've never done it. So, and they didn't even do it in Honkai either, which people had speculated they would. So that is a significant difference as well. I think the developer for this game is going to be a lot more generous. It just seems like this game's a little bit more generous than Genshin in a lot of little ways, as well, in terms of the currency you get for opening chests is a little higher than Genshin, and also even the battle pass seems a little bit more generous than Genshin as well, in certain areas. So there's some differences there that are certainly notable. So keep that in mind as well. But again, it's still a gacha game. Everything I've ever said about gacha still fucking applies to this game, so keep that in mind as well. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I got to say for now. Game is pretty good. Combat's the best part. I don't think it's an amazing game by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a lot of work to do, but I think it's a good baseline for them to build on, and I really hope I really hope, like you said earlier, that they kind of find their own identity in this space and don't copy Genshin any more than they already have. Just kind of go in their own direction with it. I think if they do that, then they will have a very successful game on their hands here. Um, Otherwise, I think people could fall off the game. So yeah, cool. All right, Macho. That's it for what we've been playing. Let's move on to the news. We don't have a lot of news this week, but we did get a state of play finally. We were talking about maybe a PlayStation showcase happening sometime before the end of May, and jokes on all of us, it ended up being a state of play. And it was about 35 minutes. They talked, or it was about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 minutes. They talked about 14 games, showed 14 games, and I guess we'll just go through them now. So, Montreal, overall, I mean, what did you think of this presentation?
In my opinion, it was lukewarm.
Yeah.
Not really too impressed with what they showed. I actually, you know what? I am impressed with the whatchamacallits, the VRs. Those two
Okay.
VR games they showed were really cool, in my opinion.
Mhm.
They look really cool.
Yeah.
Which is Behemoth and Alien Rogue Incursion.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything else is like lukewarm. I mean, I was really excited for. I mean, if you want to, or we could just you just want to just like free ball it because only what I really want to talk about really in depth is like maybe Monster Hunter. But like the ones I thought was like look really cool was the
Mhm.
Ballad of Intara. I thought that one looked really cool. I don't know if that one had a release date. I think it was 2024 or
Fuck,
2025
which one
rather.
was? Oh, that was the action game. Yeah, that actually looked
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, that looked really cool.
I was really surprised by that one.
Yeah, 2025. Uh, and then there was another one that came before that one.
The princess game,
Oh no, not the Princess game. I thought that's what I was thinking about.
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors look really fucking cool. I so this is what I always wanted from a Dynasty Warriors game. It looks like you're going to be able to do it, and it looks like they went more realistic, which is what I always wanted from a Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah.
And it looks like you're going to be able to control the troops on the field and actually make like decisions that affect the
Yeah.
battle. Um,
I was too
I
busy rolling my eyes to see any of that.
yeah, I know a lot of people were upset.
I hate Dynasty Warriors, dude. I think it's such a stupid. I don't know.
It's
I
a
appreciate.
Mushu.
I
It's a
really appreciate.
Mushu.
I appreciate that people like it. You know, it's fine.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with it. It's just for me, like these games are just whatever, dude. Like
they
there are
are.
people flying around, like literally getting thrown around like
Uh,
ragdolls, like 50 guys at the same fucking time. It's so silly.
it's so fucking stupid,
Yeah.
but I love it so much. But yeah, like I always wanted like an RTS version of this, and then hopefully they do that, and I'm holding my fucking breath. I always want like an RTS version, like where you actually have to use strategy and you can fight, and everything like that. But I'm not really holding my breath for it. Obviously, they're bringing God of War Ragnarok to PC, which is really cool for PC players. 5 years later, I mean, good job, guys. Um,
It's only
uh,
2 years
oh,
later.
2 years. Whoa, like yeah, like we've already played the game. You can hold out and say PC Master Race. I actually don't give a fuck. But
Mm-hmm.
the other game I really liked that looked really rough though was Where Wind Meets, and I was just like, I saw the game. That's actual. That looks like actual gameplay, which is really cool. Looks like someone else's take on Sekiro, in my opinion, but like with a little bit more
Which one was
mythology put
this?
into it. Where Wind Meets.
I don't know.
That's
Was this
at
in the middle?
yeah, it's at 21:55.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this one looks really cool. Um, it looks more so on the Bloodborne Sekiro style of combat, but it looks like it has a little bit more and a little bit more fast pace to it and everything of that nature, almost Neo like in my opinion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have a release date for it. They just said wish list now and then told us to suck their dick. So I'm not really too excited about that. I did want to ask you, how did you feel about Firewalk?
Concord, yeah. That was the one I wanted to talk. I mean, that was the first game they showed, right? So
Yeah,
they get. I
They
was
put a
getting
lot of
annoyed.
money in this game,
I
man. A
was getting
lot.
really annoyed until the gameplay started. I was like, "Is this going to be a cinematic trailer?" Like, and they don't show any gameplay,
No,
and then
they
they're like,
did say like before that cinematic trailer started that they were going to show gameplay. They did say that.
"Right, yeah," but I mean, companies have said that before, and then they don't show any gameplay, or they show gameplay where it's like literally a half second, like cut 50 different cuts of a half second of their game, so you can't
Yeah.
fucking tell what the fuck is going on at any certain point with it. So it's funny because the cinematic trailer was actually pretty good. I felt like, it was like interesting, and then I'm like, but this is a multiplayer game though. Like, why did they do all this for a multiplayer
Exactly.
game? And then they
Exactly.
start showing the game, and I'm like, bro, it's just
It's
why does
Destiny.
everybody want to make fucking hero shooters? Like, why does everybody want to do this all of a sudden? I don't understand.
This
Like
game reminded me of Destiny, like more
yeah,
than a hero shooter to me. Like
but
the way,
it is a hero shooter though, literally. Like
yeah,
that's what it is 5v5 hero shooter. I certainly maybe looks more like Destiny, like look and feel wise, but
hmm
um in terms of gameplay it's going to be that hero shooter for sure. And I see what you mean in terms of some of the movements and the skills you can use.
yeah,
They definitely like almost feel ripped out of Destiny for sure. um but it's just this genre, like what I don't like. Do you really think this is going to take off? Like
no,
I don't want to be mean, like, but
no, bro. Okay, so I this game and other games that are coming out, because I heard there's another hero shooter supposed to be coming out as well, from Valve, I think, or
yeah.
Blizzard, one of those two. Um, I thought we went through this already. The
Yeah,
only hero
Overwatch, dude,
shooter,
like
yeah, the only hero shooter that I'm genuinely looking forward to is Marvel Rivals. That's it.
yeah. Yeah, which
And
that's not even. I don't even know if I call that necessarily a hero shooter strictly, because there's gonna be so many characters that don't shoot anything.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
they're just melee. They just like they punch and shit. And I will say, to be fair to Concord, like it looks fun. Like I actually do think it looks like a fun, competent game. But like, is it gonna hit the way something like Helldivers did? I just don't see that, man. Like I don't know. I just
Yeah, we
it,
did
it,
say this about Helldivers, but to be fair to Helldivers, or to fair us, we hardly saw any gameplay of Helldivers.
it was also poorly marketed.
Yeah. Um, this game looks like if it had came out 7 years ago, it would have been a hit, in my opinion. Now, I don't know. And on top of that, is this free to play? Because if it's free to play, then it's definitely dead on
No, I don't
arrival.
think so. No,
Oh,
I think it's premium. You can pre-order it.
okay.
Um, so
Is
I
there going to
actually
be a
think that's
single
probably a good.
player?
I think that's a good thing for the game.
Yeah,
That
I
it's
do too.
premium.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Um,
I
but
mean, is there going to be like any kind of like? I know they're showing PvP, but is there going to be any kind of PvE?
they
Like
didn't.
the sto-
They they've not said anything about that. I will say that that cinematic trailer kind of indicated maybe there could be a story here.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, which would be cool. That would get me a lot more interested in the game, actually, frankly, and
Yeah,
like get me into the multiplayer that way. Um, so yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Now, if there's like a robust PvE or story, I think this game will actually sell and do good because like it has the obviously the money. That's the scary part, man. When I saw the cinematic trailer, I instantly went up. Oh my god, inflated budget, 150
Yeah,
million,
Sony
right
pumped
there.
money into this dude,
Yeah,
definitely, because it looks good, like from an aesthetic standpoint.
yeah,
And then that cinematic trailer for sure, like that is a high investment trailer. That was not cheap to make.
yeah. And then even the gameplay. Um, like I said, it reminded me of Destiny because how you can, dodge um, and when you dodge, it goes into third person, then switches back to first person. Like that's very Destiny esque. I know other games did it,
Mm,
y'all, but like that's
that's
very
true.
Destiny esque the way Destiny was doing it. And the characters look really cool, and the gameplay for each character looks really fucking cool as well. So I mean, this may be a sleeper hit in my opinion. The more I watch it and talk about it, I
Yeah,
just hope they have some kind of like
they need a
story
marketing
component.
plan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I do think a story component would actually do the game some favors here. Because it would get people in, and then at that point, that might get people to try the multiplayer, and it could get them hooked. Like, because like I said, I think this looks like a good game. Like, I think it
yeah,
looks competently made, and it looks like it could be really fun. So I'm not even saying from my perspective, like I might play this. I might try this out if we're interested in trying it. But like again, though, if like our group doesn't play it, I'm not touching this shit by myself. Like, fuck that.
yeah.
Especially if there's no single player component to it. So
I will say this will
um,
probably be a game for me, you, and DJ instead of our normal
our
group.
group, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I could see that. I could
yeah.
definitely see that. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks really fun. But like I said, they gotta have something else besides. I need games to stop doing the Overwatch, like
yes, I agree.
me- like formula. It doesn't work because it didn't even
In
work for
8 years,
Overwatch.
man, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't
Overwatch
even
did
work
it
for
twice and it
Overwatch.
didn't work.
So I need them to invest in PVE and stuff like that because people want that type of shit. You got these cool ass characters. Like all those characters look cool as fuck, and we don't really know their personality outside of the quips they say
Yeah,
on the
in a
battlefield.
match or something. Yeah,
Yeah, and
right.
then we have to like go outside. And Destiny really started this shit too, where you had to like go to the internet for like a lot of lore and everything like that, and everything. And I want everything to be in game. So, um,
Yeah, and
uh,
why are you gonna make all this lore for a game and do nothing with it?
exactly. And I just really hope they learn from Overwatch instead of just like copying it. Like now, Marvel Rivals has an advantage, right? They don't have to do that because these are well-established comic book characters. Just
Right.
put in an arena,
Well, and I think the concept with that IP in a multiplayer game setting is inherently appealing. Whereas
Exactly,
this is a new IP where you need to sell people on this stuff. Like,
exactly.
and I think it's much easier to sell somebody on playing these characters and playing this multiplayer when there's a cool story component with it that comes with the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's gonna be a 50-50. It may be a sleeper hit. It may not be a sleeper hit. Um,
Hmm.
it all depends on how the actual game is when it comes out. I mean, I know the beta's coming out, but I need the actual game to come out and then how it's gonna be structured and everything of that nature.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't mention anything about it makes me nervous because the game is literally coming out. I think it was August.
Yeah,
Let's
the
see.
beta's in July.
Yeah, beta's in July. And they're doing pre-orders in June. And yeah, I think the game is coming out soon after that. So it's the fact that they didn't show any story really kind of makes me think there isn't any, and I think that could be a mistake for this game. Like this isn't Helldivers. Like I don't, that's the thing. Helldivers concept is so zany and well executed, and the story, like there is story in Helldivers. It's just part of the meta game of the multiplayer.
Yeah,
And I think that is that's a genius way to do it, and I don't think Concord's gonna do that.
yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately,
so
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. We said this before, but I don't know, man. I feel like Helldivers was the one game we got wrong. We usually right about a lot of games, but Helldivers was the one game we got wrong. It took
to
me
be
by
fair, nobody
surprise.
got it right.
That's
Like
true.
literally nobody
Literally
predicted
nobody
that.
got it. Yeah.
Sony didn't predict it, dude. Like they didn't believe in it either. So I'm not gonna
Even
take a
even the
huge
old
L on that one.
studio, even the old studio didn't predict it happening.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
So I'm not gonna take a huge L on that. It is funny though, because the first game it got revealed that it sold like 3 or 4 million copies, which is
it did.
insane.
Well,
Yeah,
it
dude.
was. It's been out for about 10 years though.
Yeah,
It
I
has been out
know,
for
but
10 years.
still, dude, still, that is a fucking lot of copies,
Yeah, that's
dude.
true.
3 or 4 million for a game like
And they
that?
obviously had the budget because look at the
Yeah.
game. The game's actually really
Mhm.
beautiful. Like the game looks good.
Yeah.
So
So maybe given those numbers, if we had known those numbers beforehand, maybe it might have changed our mind a little bit.
yeah,
It might have been an indicator that there's something about Helldivers that people like.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I
So
should have looked into Helldivers 1 to see what it was really like because then I probably would have jumped in on it like, oh my god, this this is
yeah,
actually
we did hand wave it. To be
yeah,
fair to the game, we
yeah.
did kind of hand wave and say, this game doesn't have a chance. You know, it's kind of
So
one of
I'm
those.
trying to be fair to
So
this game as well, Concord.
yeah,
I don't know nothing about Firewalk though. I don't know what they've done.
they're a new studio.
They're a new
They're
studio. Okay,
newly
yeah, I don't
formed.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they came from like other previous players and stuff like that, or previous
No,
studios.
it's a bunch of developers. It was kind of a studio formed, and Sony got in early and invested in them, and they're like
Gotcha.
there's talent there.
Yeah, I can definitely tell by the way the game looks. The game looks phenomenal. Like I said, it just looks a little bit too late. You know what I'm
I just
saying?
don't
Like,
think people are interested, dude. I was like
yeah,
watching the comment feed as this was streaming, and bro, like,
a whole bunch of Z's
oh my,
or L's.
seriously, people were like, "What? Why is Sony doing this? They need to get out of live service. What are they have no chance." Like, people are not excited about it. This doesn't feel like
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's the wrong environment to do it. It's kind of a not a slap in the face, but like you're not paying attention to what's going on. Like your
yeah.
head's in the sand type situation. So
hmm
I don't know, man. It looks good though. I hope it is successful. I hope it's fun when it comes out and everything of that nature. So
What about the Pretty Little Princess game,
you
Infinity
know what,
Nikki?
bro? I'm not gonna
It
lie to you.
actually
Yeah,
looks it actually looks good, dude. Like, I'm sitting here like, I'm like, bro, this looks better than a Square Enix game. You know, like, what is happening right now?
I'm not gonna lie to you. If this game comes out and it's like not $70, like a $50
hmm
game, I
Yeah.
might actually just buy it and play it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh my
it,
god.
it
Tiana
looks like
comes in and is like, Montrell, what are you doing?
yo.
Uh,
I've actually been wanting a game to where that's why I'm actually probably about to just start playing Harvestella after I play
yeah.
fucking Stellar Blade. I really just want a game sometime where I can just chill out and
Chill
play
out.
it. Yeah,
And
and
like
this looks
there's
like
some combat in it, but it's like not it's not like the main
exactly.
component of the game. Yeah.
Exactly, not the focal point of the game. So,
Yeah.
um, this looks like that chill out game.
Yeah.
This obviously also, I would not be, I would not be upset if someone walked in on this game, watching me play this game, and were like, "Wow, you need to be put on a
Dude.
list."
This is
Like,
like a Japanese no, dude, this is like a Japanese Barbie game. That's what it looks
yeah,
like. Seriously, there's so many of these like every character in the game they showed is female.
yeah,
And they're all like basically princesses wearing a dress of some sort, you know?
yeah,
Um
exactly. They're all fully clothed. They're not in like promiscuous stuff or anything like
right.
that.
They're
Yeah,
yes, exactly. Right. It's not one of
uh,
those it doesn't look like one of those games, which is
yeah.
good.
So,
But
yeah, I
um
mean, I don't know. It looks really cool, and it looks like there's a more insidious like plot behind everything as well. So,
there is some combat too, to be fair. It's not
yeah,
just running around taking pictures and dresses and stuff. So it seems like there's a little more to the game than that too. So and there's like platforming and stuff as well. So
yeah,
I don't know. Like it looked really polished, I guess is what I'd say. Like the graphics look really good in it,
yeah, yeah.
aesthetically. So it's just weird. I've never heard of this. Is this like a franchise or something that's like trying to go
I never,
mainstream
I
or
never heard of this either. At
yeah.
all. I think they're just really trying to cash in on like the Lolita like cute
Mhm.
you know girl look and stuff like that because like there are plenty of like fucking like Japanese gotcha games that's just surrounded just that like you make your little girl and you can have her sing and stuff like that and all that other bullshit like that but um yeah it's actually okay so here we go uh
Oh. Yeah, so
it's a gotcha.
well, no, so this is what I'm getting. So Nikki is the series is a series of dress up fashion games, and one of them is kind of a gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Um, so Nikkei is the gotcha game, which I think isn't that from the developer that makes Wuthering Waves?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I don't think called this the series is called Love Nikki. I don't I don't know. I don't know, man. Never heard of it, but certainly looks interesting, I guess is what I'll say. It doesn't look like a terrible game or anything like that. So
Yeah.
um so that's interesting. All right, other games. Let's see. You already talked about Dynasty Warriors. Talked about Ballad of Antara. So yeah, that one we didn't really talk about super deep. This one looked really cool actually. Like this looked very interesting to me from as an action game. I'm like I'm kind of in like an action game kick right now. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
like every
converting
action
you.
game is interesting me,
I'm converting you, man. I'm converting you.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just something about like, fighting in an action game, like executing a fight really well where you like don't get hit, and you're
Yeah.
doing these awesome combos. It just feels so fucking
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I
There it
did it in
is.
I've done it in Wuthering Waves a few times where like I don't get hit by an enemy and I just obliterate them, and it feels so fucking good. Like that game has that element to it, which is why I think it has a potential future if they go down that road. But yeah, this Ballad of Antara game looks pretty interesting too, for sure. Um, it was very
It
confusing though. I don't know. Like, do you play one character or are there multiple characters you can play as? I didn't
yeah,
quite.
I don't know. I think that the other character is probably going to be like a mechanic, probably like
Mhm.
Banjo Kazooie. How
Or like
Kazooie just had like
companion.
yeah,
Well, there's like that female character with the spear too. I don't. She looked like they almost made it look like you maybe sort of can play as her at some point, but like they didn't actually directly show gameplay of you playing as her.
yeah.
So I don't know. That's coming to 2025. Then there was the two VR games you had talked about. You want to talk about those at all?
Um, I mean,
Skydance's Behemoth is one.
yeah, the Behemoth game looked really cool. It looked really polished too.
Yeah.
Um, I might like if the VR thing ever goes on sale, I might actually get it for this game. But the one game I'm really looking forward to, even though it didn't have too much gameplay, was Alien Incursion or
Yes.
Rogue Incursion because
Rogue Incursion. Yeah.
I really do like scary games, and I did like Alien Isolation, and this looks
Mhm.
like it's going to be a VR version of Alien Isolation. So
Yeah.
I just like that franchise in general. So I'm an Alien simp. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And then there was Marvel Rivals, which, dude, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, was it just me or did this trailer like make the game look worse?
It made
Because
it look
there's
very Overwatchy, which I
yes, there are points in the trailer where they're showing people in the middle of a fight and they're just strafing and they're next to two other people strafing and it just looks so fucking stupid. Like
yeah.
I just, oh my god, I don't know. Like might
They
have, maybe
they're
we should have taken a second pass at this trailer because yeah,
they're
um,
they're they're targeting a very specific audience, and they know who they're targeting, and it's the Overwatch crowd,
yeah,
and they're gonna get them. Like
yeah.
legitimately, they're gonna get
True,
them.
true. Well, there was another point. Did you feel this throughout the trailer that a lot of the animations don't look great? Like when Star Lord was doing his ultimate, his like spinning ultimate, like he was like very like low framey, like you know. Is that like a comic book effect they're trying to go for, or do you think that was just like poor
I think that was it.
optimization?
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. I think that was a comic book effect they're trying to go for.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, because that wasn't obvious to me on first viewing. Viewing it now, that kind of more what I think too. But
yeah, it's
um,
definitely like a comic book effect they're trying to go for.
yeah,
Um, I actually like one thing. I do like the destructible environments. That's not in
yes,
Overwatch, and I think
that
that's
is cool.
really a really cool thing to have in a game like this that can dynamically change the way you move around the map and stuff like that. Um, so
I'm
yeah,
sure as Hulk, dude, it's gonna be so fun to run around and just break everything.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's really cool. Um, some way to actually challenge Marvel, and it looks like it has the polish and everything to do it. So yeah,
Yep. And then there's a closed beta coming in July of this year. So
yeah. They already had like an alpha for some like a lot of people. So a lot of people were playing the game already too.
yep. All right, and then we already talked about the what was that? I don't even remember what this one was called. The one you were the other action game you were talking about.
Where Wind Meets,
Where
or
yeah, okay.
Wind Meets, or
Yeah,
whatever.
that one
Yeah,
looked pretty cool. And then Until Dawn remake coming from God, what's the studio called? Um
Ballistic Moon.
Ballistic Moon. Yeah, Ballistic Moon. Yeah, they specifically made this studio and this is made up of ex developers from Supermassive that made Until Dawn are now remaking Until Dawn on PS5, which is, I mean, this game's not that old. It's not even 10 years old yet. So it is a little weird that they're doing this. Do you think they're trying to reestablish this IP though, to kind of do something with it maybe in the future?
Yeah, because I was genuinely excited when I saw that it was a remake.
Yeah.
So I actually like Until Dawn one,
Yeah. It's really
or
good.
not one, but
Yeah,
Until
only
Dawn,
one.
the original one.
Yeah.
It is really good, and I think people should give it a chance. I know it looks like Western bullshit, but it actually is a really good
Well,
game
like, you know, that
story.
like 80s cheesy horror vibes too, which
Yeah,
it's specifically deliberately going for that, but it is like when you play through the whole game, it's actually really pretty well done. So overall, which is really cool. So it's a cool game. I would definitely recommend it. I don't think I'm gonna play it. Like I've played it before, so I'm not like super invested in this necessarily, but this will be cool for people who didn't experience the original. Definitely.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then after that was Path of Exile 2, dude. Um, I was surprised that Sony got them to do a trailer of this in their state of play. Um, they announced early access is coming late 2024, and I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get myself too hyped about this game and like end up being disappointed by it, but dude, I just every time I see this right now, I'm this game looks fucking so good. Like this looks like the ARPG I've been kind of waiting for somebody
This
to make,
this is
you know.
supposed to be your Diablo 4. This is your
I
Diablo
think
4.
so. I really do think
Yeah, I'm
so.
not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I saw this trailer. I was like, "Oh, this game looks really fucking cool."
Bro, dude.
like, like
Yeah.
the animations and stuff look really
Yes.
fucking cool, man.
Yep.
Like way better than Diablo.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. It was like this one like spear wind move he did, like looked
Yep.
really fucking cool to me. I was like, okay, this looks really
Yep.
dope. I am scared though because I remember you told me like the first one was like really free to play, and I know this was gonna be free to play,
It
but I'm
will be.
hoping it's not like grindy free to play. Like, is
No,
there?
it's no. The first one's. I mean, it's an ARPG. They're always grindy, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's not. It's a free to play in the sense of like they will you pay for like inventory space in this game. That's what
Oh, okay,
that's their
okay.
model. So you're gonna spend money. Trust me. If you get deep into the game, you're gonna have no choice
Well,
but to
it's
spend
fucking
money.
couch co-op, bro. Like,
But
I can come
yeah,
over
no,
and play
I
the
know.
game with you.
Isn't that fucking awesome? I love that. That is so fucking cool. But yeah, no, you pay for inventory space. The cool thing about this game though, because they announced this at ExileCon
Oh my
last
god,
year,
the
was that
melee combat looks so fucking dope. I'm
I
sorry,
know
keep going.
what, dude, which is such a departure from Path of Exile 1 because there is no melee combat in Path of Exile 1. You don't swing your weapon. Like all you do is cast abilities. That's all you do in Path of Exile 1, and that looks like based on the gameplay they've shown and everything and all these trailers we've seen, it seems like they're going away from that design tenet and actually putting auto attacking as part of the gameplay, which is extremely important in an ARPG to me. That's why I always get bored with Path of Exile because the game is super boring. You build your whole kit around one ability basically, and you just cast that one ability the whole time, like essentially.
Okay.
Like that's kind of the game. And there are other things. You'll have defensive skills you'll add in your kit sometimes, and maybe attack enhancers and stuff like that. Like it's not just one skill, but it adds up to very boring gameplay where you're basically casting one or two skills the whole time. So I'm kind of hoping that at least for the physical characters that there's a little bit more melee combats mixed in there, which it looks like there is. So, which is really cool. But yeah, the thing, getting back to what I was saying, what they announced last year was anything you've bought in Path of Exile 1 will carry over to Path of Exile 2, which is awesome. So all the inventory shit that I bought in Path of Exile 1 will carry over for me in Path of Exile 2, which is fucking sick. I don't have to like rebuy any of that shit, which
Nice.
is so fucking cool. So um they also announced cross progression, cross play as part of this as well. So you can play on PS5 while I'm on PC, or I could take my PC character and play it on PS5, which is fucking awesome. Like that's so fucking sick. So I don't want to be too unreasonably excited about this game, but I am getting unreasonably excited about this
Yeah.
game. It looks really really good. So
Yeah, and I wasn't even keeping up with it but when I saw this trailer, I was like, all right, whatever, Path of Exile, blah. Then I started watching, I was like, oh, oh my god. So,
no, I mean these guys right now are kind of the standard for ARPGs. Like it's them and maybe Crate who make Grim Dawn. Like
okay,
to me, those are kind of the two developers that get what an ARPG is supposed to be, and they're the ones making those games right now. And so for these guys, I mean, they're making a follow up to Path of Exile, which I mean that game came out over 10 years ago now at this point, so it's very old. To have a brand new game with a completely new design from them is very exciting. So yeah, no, that's looking really cool. Early access late 2024 on that, so it probably will come out sometime next year, I assume, which is very exciting. After that was Silent Hill 2. They showed more more gameplay of this.
Yeah, this didn't look too
Oh
good.
boy, I don't
I'm
even know
not
what it's supposed to look like, and it doesn't look that good. You
I'm
know,
not a graphics whore, but it's just like, yeah, it doesn't look too good. But the gameplay looks Silent Hill, like a modern Silent Hill, so I'm gonna play it.
is there
Um,
this much combat in Silent Hill though? Traditionally,
yeah, it was kind of modeled after Resident Evil,
really?
in
Okay,
my opinion. Yeah.
okay,
So this is supposed to be like Resident Evil's like competitor. So
gotcha.
that's why I'm not really harping on the graphics. I've been on record saying I don't really care about the graphics being too good. Um, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I do want Silent Hill to come back, and the graphics are good enough for me. So
Mm,
uh, I'm gonna try it out. As long as it's scary, it has that psychological. Because Resident Evil is more so like campy, gory, uh you know horror. This one was more psychological horror and
mm,
stuff like that. So like there would be like crazy shit happening that will probably disappear off the screen and reappear on the screen, everything like that nature. Like the more your character gets fucking freaked out, the more stuff will happen, bad stuff will happen to you. uh
mm-hmm.
so
Gotcha.
uh that's kind of what I want, and it looks like it's going to deliver on that. I just really hope that they don't go too much on the Resident Evil route, if that
Yeah,
makes any
yeah,
sense. So yeah.
gotcha. Well, that's coming on October 8th this year, so we'll have that pretty soon for people who are interested. And then after that was, dude, Monster Hunter.
Yeah, man. Woo. I had to
Okay,
park my car to watch this shit.
okay. Well, one thing I want to say: why can this team not make good-looking character models? I don't understand. Like,
Hey, I don't know. People are simping over the blonde chick
yeah,
already.
she looks terrible. Like, I don't think the character model looks that great. Like, I don't know. I just maybe I have a bias against this series because I just don't think their character models ever look good in any of their games.
I think she looks
Um,
hot. I think she's hot.
I mean, you remember the females from fucking Rising? We switched to males because
I
they
mean,
look so bad.
the armor was terrible. The armor was
Okay,
really bad.
I don't think the models were good either,
I think the
man.
models look great.
All right.
Well, they look better. They look better in
I
World,
guess
in
we'll
my
have to see
opinion.
the armor when the game comes out and see
Yeah,
how we feel
they
about it.
the models look better in World, and the armor was way better in World for the females. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
even funny. They were drastically better. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, this game, man. Uh, I'm sorry. One feature that I saw is you can swap your weapons in the middle of the fucking combat now. You saw that?
Um, I did not. I've only watched it the one time, so I didn't pick back through it deeply. Where what part did they do that?
So you're still in the same one as me.
Yeah.
Uh, Around 30, 40, or actually, I'm
Okay.
sorry, 30. Look at like 30, 30, 35, 30, 35.
Okay, hold on. Going. No, yeah. He's got the great sword out, or that's a long sword actually. I think.
No, that's a great sword.
Oh, it is a great sword. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great sword.
Sorry, I don't play those weapons.
I'm a dual swords.
Yes, exactly. Dual swords all the way, baby. Flipping around. I'm still not seeing it, dude. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
coming up. It's coming up.
Okay. He gets on the thing. Gets on the.
You see it right there.
I didn't see it directly. Oh,
Look,
there it is. Okay, when
yeah,
he's on the mount. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. He pulls out the heavy blowgun. What? Or the heavy fucking blowgun.
The heavy bow gun, yeah.
Bowgun, yeah. That was a Freudian slip. Yeah, that's okay. So wait a second. So that means you can have two weapons at a time?
Man, that's what they said. That's what they said on their Twitter too. Like, it's gonna be crazy.
What? So I can be a dual blade bow main? Bro, wait a second. Hold on. What? Yo, okay. That would be something, dude. That's
So another thing that I'm liking about this is it looks like time has progressed,
yes.
and it looks like you're in like what will be their version of the Victorian times, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, because they have like that kind of steampunk esque like wear on them and stuff like that. It looks like it looks like their technology has advanced a little bit. Um, in my opinion, I actually like that era of stuff.
Well, I think there is a timeline in Monster Hunter. Every game takes place after the last one, usually.
Yeah,
So there is a time progression happening in the series for sure. Because the earlier games I remember are more primitive, right? Like
yeah,
it's just like a village.
it's just a village. Yeah,
There's no like sense of a larger world, really. Generally,
yeah. In Monster Hunter One, like you get a sense of a larger world when you go online and you go like
yeah.
visit the guild hall and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then Monster Hunter Two, like uh, it's more the same. And Monster Hunter Three, in my opinion, is more of the same. You get to see other versions of like the village, like oh, this is the eastern version of the village, and whatever the case may be. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you play
Um,
Generations, then you pretty much play like
all of it. Yeah,
all
every
of it.
one of the
Yeah, I feel like
games.
Generations was like this is the primitive version of Monster Hunter. Now we're about to go to the more advanced version of
Mm,
Monster, or we're about to progress through time, or whatever.
yeah. Well, I guess the big point about all that though is, does it look like they're actually going to try to tell a story for once, like a real
It
one?
it looks like it. I don't care. You know, I don't care about the story.
You don't care? Okay, I'm here for it, man. I'm okay. Like, give me some drama, give me some characters. Let me fight like a human boss at some point. Like, I want that in Monster Hunter, man. Like, I want that. You know, like I would. I don't know. I might be in a minority there,
Well,
but
like the yeah, you are because I don't want to fight no humans. I'm gonna fight street monsters.
man, I would love to
Now
fight
if
like
I can
another
fight
hunter, dude. Like, that'd be
like if I'm
sick.
fighting a hunter that's like on top of a monster controlling it, I think
Yeah.
that would be fucking dope. Like I don't know.
I guess that'd be a starting point, but I just love like a human enemy to fight. Like, it'd be kind of interesting. I think it would be too difficult though. For certain weapons would be at such a huge disadvantage.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah,
I think like the great sword. Like if it's a fast boss, like you would get fucking wrecked. You know, like
yeah,
I don't know. So I don't think they would really ever go there. But I think the other thing I noticed is they really just showed the same like two monsters over and over again throughout this
yeah,
trailer.
yeah. And I mean,
Um,
they did that with the old Monster Hunter as well. There are other monsters that they showed that you have to like really look for in the trailer.
yeah,
People are pointing
but
it out.
they're just hiding them, right? Like they're not.
Yeah.
I think they want to withhold kind of what's going to be in the game.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold out my fucking pledge I made to myself. I'm going to wait to the G ranked. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Well, see, this is the problem. We played the
We
wrong.
do
Like
this every
we
time.
we. No, I just think Rising was the wrong game for us to have gotten the base version of. You know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately, like I think this game. I don't know. I think it's gonna deliver. We're such hypocrites. I can't. Like we're gonna break. So we're breaking so fast. The game doesn't even have a release date, and we're sitting here talking about playing it when it comes out, bro. Like
It looks
I
so
don't know.
good though. When
It
he
really,
swapped weapons, I was
it
like, oh.
definitely does. Yeah, I didn't
Then
even
you can do
notice
like a
that,
move where you can like
bro.
square up with the fucking monster. Like he did a move where it was like live gameplay. It wasn't like a
Yes,
cutscene where he
right.
stopped the monster with his knife or with his giant sword, which I always wanted. I always wanted like the monster can charge at you, and if you do like a block or something like that, you can hold it or whatever the case may
Dude.
be.
No, yeah, he puts the sword in a sheath on the mount
Yeah,
and then pulls out the bow gun. So he definitely has two weapons. They might be tied to your mount, maybe, which is
they
interesting.
are. I think they did say it is tied to your mount, so you can't do it while you're fighting. You have to be on your mount, and then
On
you
your
can
mount,
swap.
but you can call. It looks like you can call your mount at any time, and also you can shoot from your mount if you're using a ranged weapon, which is very interesting
Man,
as well, which is
that's
really
so dope.
fucking cool. And dude, I think I'm gonna be the person that everybody hates online that plays dual swords and bow, because that's what everyone's gonna fucking do.
Well, it looks like in this game you're actually hunting again. Like that's the
I
problem I have
know.
with Rise, man. Like
Yeah.
I felt too cartoony. Like I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I loved the combat, but it just
Yep.
felt too cartoony. And I was like, man, I really don't hope they move too much in this direction. I really want to feel like I'm
Mhm.
hunting the monster again. And the environments look really cool. One thing I don't know is how big are their environments. They didn't really give me a scale of how big it is. It looks big, but like Monster
Yeah.
Hunter does a really good job at hiding how big the environments actually are, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Well,
So
those questions we had about open world, right? Like, is it going to be open world? I don't think they were really answered here.
yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if they're going to answer that necessarily. There's certain things that they like to hold back, you know, and then maybe that might be one of them, dude. Because I think they know if they give this game to reviewers and never announce an actual open world, and then it turns out the game's open world, that is gonna blow people away. Like that's gonna be like a jaw dropping moment for Monster Hunter fans, you know, where it's like, bro, are you serious? Like I can go anywhere, like you know, and there's tons of monsters on the map and some shit, like it, dude, it just, so I don't know, it almost feels, this game definitely feels like it is going to be more ambitious for sure, and I hope that's where they go, but I don't know, we'll find out, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, it looks good. I think the only other thing I want to say though is I will say some of the animations for the monsters aren't looking great quite yet.
Yeah,
They're not fully polished.
it definitely still looks like it's in beta
Alpha
form or
form, yeah.
alpha, yeah, beta, alpha.
Yeah,
Um,
I appreciate that
it's
though. They're not afraid to show that, you
yeah,
know.
but yeah, I actually I can't stress enough how I love this like Victorian era. What
Hmm.
was it, colonial Victorian era? What was that era called?
Uh, yeah, no, I don't think that would be Victorian. I think it's just colonial.
Colonial, yeah. So I really do like the colonial era.
Well, actually, I guess it depends on what period of colonial we're talking about. I think the early colonial period is Victorian.
Okay,
Like I'm
what
talking like 1500s though, you know.
1500s? It
Yeah.
does this look 1500s to you? It looks like they're because it looks
Yeah,
very
I would say
Assassin's
so.
Creed-ish to me. Like,
No, I would say that that period maybe in the 1600s is the right aesthetic. Maybe it's a little bit, it's probably more high tech than that for sure, but
yeah, yeah. I
you know,
mean,
the
every time they do
cutscene
it,
they showed takes place in what appears to look like a castle of some sort, you know.
yeah, and you know, every time
Um,
people do this era in like fantasy, they always like kind of up it a little bit. They always
yeah,
give it like a little steampunk or
yeah,
maybe they're a little bit electric charge. So I don't know.
add some tech to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this era looks. I can't wait to see the armor that's going to come out this era
actually,
aesthetically.
yeah, that cutscene, that the flashback they showed actually looks like they might be on a ship, maybe.
Yeah,
Um, actually, but that's the thing. The ships look like they're like that colonial style ship with the giant sail and everything, you know.
yeah,
Um, they don't, obviously they're you know, monster hunter looking. Obviously, they're not like designed exactly like that, but um, so that's interesting. Also, it looks like one of those sand ships, you know, from
from three, from
what was
try.
that, 3? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Try did that. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So that maybe
What
might
if
indicate
we're
where we are.
yeah? I was gonna say, what if we're retaking the land that we kind of I don't want to say lost, but
Yeah,
because I remember the whole story of Monster Hunter is like there is a story, y'all. Like
yeah,
the like we got way too advanced and then everything regressed because like the monsters like especially the fatalists kind of like destroyed everything because he's actually intelligent.
right.
And what if
Well,
like
if you go to the trailer, go to like 29:30, and you'll notice they do these flashes in the environment where the environment looks really lush and then they show it kind of dead. Um
mm,
so I'm wondering, I don't know which time period we're in necessarily, but that's kind of an interesting aspect of the trailer too.
sorry.
So yeah, I don't know. Game looks very good. The monsters they showed look cool. They definitely look unique. They're not dragons, which is great.
Yep, yep.
They're not fucking serpents, which was World's problem. Like every fucking monster was a serpent of some sort. So that's cool. I'm excited about that too. And I mean, they gave the hard 2025 window now, so I don't think that was quite official yet. So or maybe they showed that in the last trailer. Actually, I think they may have, but
No, they showed it in
yeah,
this trailer too. It's 2025.
yeah, I know, but I think they announced that in the last trailer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, man, I don't know. Looks really good. Dude, the two weapon thing, that's
Yeah, that's
really
crazy.
exciting actually. Um because yeah, you could even do something such as be like dual blades and bring like a sword and shield if you need more defense or something, or
Yeah,
you know, or I don't know, if you want to be crazy, do like a heavy weapon, a light weapon, like fast and slow weapons too. You could do something like that also. Um, so I don't know, man. It's pretty exciting for sure. All right. Last thing they showed was new Astro game. This looks really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say this actually looked really fucking cool. Not even gonna lie
Yeah.
to you.
Team Asobi's like their unsung kind of, I don't know, MVP. Like this game looks really like just zany and crazy and fun, and it just looks like they're having a lot of fun with it, you know.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know.
I
You
mean,
you think you're gonna
I,
check this one out?
yeah, I am. I actually am gonna check this out. This looks really fucking cool. It looks like they put more into like platforming. I know the first one, it was like it was all right. But this one looks really fucking cool. I don't know why. It's like
Hmm.
looked like they had a more of a budget and they had more of a vision of what they wanted to do with it. And I
Yeah,
like it, and I like how it's pretty much like a celebration of like the PlayStation franchises and stuff like that and everything. So
just the PlayStation brand, even,
yeah,
which is interesting.
so
But yeah, like there was like a Kratos appearance in there, like the fucking axe was in there at some point, and
yeah,
your ship is like a PlayStation 5, which is really cool. And then they have
yeah,
like a fighter that's like the dual sense controller
yeah,
that you're flying around in and stuff. So no, like this game looks really cool. It's coming on September 6th on PS5 as well. So
and the graphics look fucking amazing. By the way, like
yeah, man. I don't know. Yeah, this team is really like underrated. I feel like Team Asobi. Like,
yeah,
I haven't played any of their stuff, but every time I see like a trailer for any of these Astro games, like this just looks so fucking sick, dude. So, um, so yeah, and it's like a proper. Seems like a proper release too. It's obviously not a pack in with the console, so it's not free or anything like that. Like you will have to pay money for it. So
yeah,
which I think is good for that team, right?
yeah,
For
exactly.
them to actually have a premium game that you buy. And I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get it on PSVR. I don't think they announced that necessarily with it, but I think the first game they did was on PSVR. So
Yeah, yeah, but this one looks really fucking cool. Like I actually like it, and everything. I was like, at first, I kind of like side eye it, and then I started watching it more. I was like, well, okay, this is really good. It's coming September 6th of this year, so I'm definitely going to be picking that up actually.
mhm.
Because I actually just want a game like that, like a
Fun little platformer,
yeah, fun little platformer game. So
Yeah, this is like their version of Mario almost,
yeah,
which is cool. So
I will say I'm happy about one thing. Bloodborne fans still get to suck it.
oh my
No
god.
remaster.
No, come on, man. Don't rub it in. Leave him alone. Like
Every fucking
dude,
state of play, I have to deal with y'all fucking
they're
tweets.
thirsty. They're so thirsty, man. They're never getting that drink. Like it's there's something funky going on with that IP, dude.
Yeah, I
Like
don't think they own all the
there's
rights to that shit or
I don't
something,
think
bro.
so either. There's something weird with that one. Unfortunately, I think it's prohibitive in both directions, where FromSoft and Sony both can't necessarily do anything with it on
Yep.
their own, making it probably difficult for anything to happen with it, because FromSoft is just so fucking busy.
Yep.
So that's it's unfortunate. I feel sorry for you guys, but you do need to stop hanging on to it so much. Let it go. We're about to hit 10 years since the game came out. Like you kind of just need to let it go at a certain point. Like it's over. It's not happening. It'll probably happen in like 2035 on the PS, at the launch of the PS7 or something. So
35.
I mean, I'm not kidding.
Hey, you know what? You guys may get a PC port. I mean, that could be a
No, they're not getting that either. I don't think they're getting anything. I think it's that weird, whatever's going on. Like I don't think they can do anything with it.
maybe they use some kind of
We
special.
haven't even gotten the upres on PS5, dude. The patch, the upres
Oh yeah, you're
patch.
right. Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's that whatever's going on there, it's that strict. So
Maybe it's some kind of licensing with the music. Like maybe they use a different composer or something like that, and he's
yeah,
licensing the music. It
yeah.
some I mean y'all may be mad, but that could be it. It's sometimes it's literally that's what it is. Like
Hmm.
or they didn't renew the Bloodborne like name or trademark, and someone else grabbed it. Like it could be
Yeah.
that too, and they don't want to pay all the money for it. Like it's sometimes that
Right.
shit. So
Yeah. All right. Well, that was it. That was everything. Overall, I thought it was whatever. Like Sony hasn't talked in like a year, really.
I mean, at least
And
they have some stuff coming. It doesn't look
I
bleak.
know it's not
Yeah,
totally barren, but I just think like give us like the Ghost of Tsushima 2 tease or something. It's like
yeah. I
we've
wasn't
got all
expecting none
these
of that.
teams we know are going soon, man. Like they are gonna have. I feel like next year they're gonna have like 5 games that come out. Like that's kind of where we're at with Sony's first party. Like, and it's just weird that they continue to not announce anything. You know, um, so I don't know. It probably wouldn't have served much, but I think it would have been nice at the end to have something, because we know
Yeah,
Naughty Dog's working on something as well. We know that Santa Monica has another game that isn't God of War, and that's been in the oven for a while. Bend hasn't released a game in 5 years. Sucker Punch hasn't released a game in 4 years. We know Venom's coming from Insomniac. I think it was this year. It's supposed to be coming, so we know that's coming. We haven't seen any of that either. I mean, they just have so much shit that they could show, and they're not showing any of it. It's just weird. It is. It is. It is weird. So, um, all right. Any other thoughts on the state of play overall?
yeah. No, that's it.
All right, moving on to our final story. Um, Zenless Zone Zero got an official release date. It is coming on July 4th this year. This is going to be a free to play game from HoYoverse. This will be their third major one in the console space. Obviously, they had Honkai Impact Third. That was their first one that was on mobile. That is not on consoles. So, but this game has been percolating for a while. We've seen a lot of trailers of it. There've been multiple closed betas. A lot of YouTubers talking about it, talking about gameplay of it. So it's finally coming out officially, and that's July 4th. So Montreal, I know you've kind of had your eye on this game too. The animations in the game look fucking absurd. In terms of gameplay and even the cinematic stuff that they're doing. Um, but I don't know. Are you still interested in this game?
Yeah. It looks very one button combat dodge, one button combat dodge. But
Yeah.
I am going to check it out. Maybe it gets a little bit deeper than what they show in the initial trailers. Um, I'm hoping it does, but I'm not really too holding my breath for it. But it looks really fucking good. I don't know, man. It looks really
hmm
good though.
I mean, it's free to play. Might be worth just downloading it and seeing.
Yeah,
That's kind of the approach I'm taking with most of these at this point. Is basically that. Is just doing the. I'll download it and try it, and if it's for me, it's for me. If it's not, it's not. So. But
yeah. This game was really fucking cool. God damn.
yeah. Yeah, I just hope you're wrong. I hope you're not right about the one button combat stuff, because that is kind of what Genshin is. And I feel like HoYoverse can do better than that. you know. And I felt like this game was their opportunity to do that rather than just making a Genshin in a different universe style game.
Yeah, I really want them. I feel like they have enough. They should have more than enough money to actually take a chance on the actual single player, like character action game. I really want them to do that, or RPG or something like that. I
hmm
feel like they're super talented. They have really good character design. There should be no reason why they shouldn't be able to take that risk with minimum loss. But who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and just to reiterate, the animations are crazy. It's
No,
also the point where I'd say it's over animated a little
the
bit, but
the game looks fucking crazy, man. Like I'm
yeah.
watching it right now. It looks really fucking crazy.
That's
So
why I'm with you. I just want them to make a single player game, dude, that isn't like a Grand Blue Fantasy Relink style game.
yeah, yeah,
Give me that
exactly.
HoYoverse. I really want to see that from you guys because I feel like you could make a fucking 10. Like I really believe that. But I just don't think they're gonna do it. It's too easy for them to just keep raking in money. So yeah. But July 4th, which is funny, it's coming out on a holiday. Not a holiday for them, but one for the US. almost maybe feels a little cheeky. But they also know people are going to be off, not working, so it's also smart in that regard. So,
Yeah.
all right, Montrell, well, that's all we had. That's all we got for news this week. And we are done. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we head out of here today?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, everybody, we're going to head out for the week. If you like the episode, please like the show, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. And also check us out on YouTube. All the shows are now on YouTube as well, so check us out there. If you'd like to hit us up on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That'll be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.